What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to tonight's Between the Lines stream. I am, of course, your host, Craig. Again, the ITK'S were wrong. The Liverpool ITK'S seem to have got it wrong once again. Where's Shaqiri? Where are these goalkeepers? Where is Sillison? Where are all these links that the ITK'S have been putting out over the last few days and saying that today was going to be the day? We've got one more day to go before the World Cup starts, back some football, but most importantly, Liverpool's first pre-season game takes place on Saturday against Chester, and Jurgen Klopp has said that Fabinho and Naby Keita will most certainly be getting a run out. Great news. Music to my ears, and I'm sure music to the guys in the chat. Imran, Hassan, Philip, Evan, good evening to you all. Thank you for joining in so early in the stream. What do you think? No signings again today. Shaqiri hasn't shown up. There's been a few little murmurs from, I think it came from Turkey, that Manchester United are interested in Shaqiri. I don't believe it. But most importantly, we've got 2 more days, guys. 2 more days until Liverpool kick off their pre-season at Chester. Klopp has come out and said that we're going to see Naby Keita, we're going to see Fabinho, although he doesn't know if they'll play from the start. That's a brilliant start to the pre-season. I know there's a lot of English people watching this stream, so I want to know, what are you going to be watching? Are you going to be watching the Liverpool game at 3 o'clock, or are you going to be watching England versus Sweden at 3 o'clock? It's tough, guys. Let us know. What do you think? Evan said, Ajax defender, this is the young guy, the young 16-year-old Hoover, I think is that his name. But obviously my pronunciation of that, Evan, is probably all over the place, but young 16-year-old right back, can play centre back. I believe he came up through I know he's at the Ajax youth system. He's under 16 Dutch international. Did he come up through? He came up through another youth system in Holland. I can't for the life of me remember who it was just yet. But he looks a very, very promising young player. But again, not somebody for the here and now, unfortunately, Evan. But it's great to see the club signing up young talent, isn't it? Who else have we got in the chat? Mickey's here. Good evening, Mickey. Nice to see you. Thomas has joined in. Lalu, Joseph, David Little. God, you're all on tonight. Brilliant to see you all. Cameron, hello, how are you, sir? Great to have you all on again. So what do you want to talk about tonight, guys? You want to talk about the pre-season kicking off? Do you want to talk about the fact there's no Shaqiri that we were expecting today? What's the goalkeeper situation? Let me know what you guys want to talk about. This is your show. It's your interactive Between the Lines show. I'm happy to discuss whatever the hell you guys want to. I think you may have noticed the new image. What do you think of the new image? Look at the bottom right hand corner of my screen. Now, sponsored by Diet Chav. Shock horror on the screen. A little bit, we decided to change it up a little bit, but you know what? I actually went out and bought last night. Now, you probably think I'm going to wind you up, but I'm deadly serious. I am now, that's incorrect. Connor and I are now the proud owners of dietchav.com. So there you go, dietchav.com. is owned by Anfield Agenda. We thought we'd get in there just in case, get in there early. We're probably going to get our asses sued in the end by Diet Coke, but Diet Chav is here and it's here to stay. I do, of course, have my beverage here with me. I'm so excited about the pre-season starting on Saturday. It seems like it's been so long. I know it's only been a couple of months, but it feels like it's been so much longer. Imran says, no goalkeeper. I'm really worried, mate. I'm really worried. There was a few murmurings late last night about Matt Ryan. A couple of other people obviously talking about Sillison. There's Imran straight in with the Oblak thread. Alderweireld, Virgil, Robertson, Fabinho, Keita, Nabil Fekir, Mane, Salah, Firmino. Joseph Reardon says, are you shitting me? I'm not sure what that's in relation to, buddy. Ennis says, why is Liverpool being so quiet? I don't know, mate, is the honest answer. With the World Cup kind of winding down now, we probably will see clubs become more active. But yes, there was a lot of people, a lot of talk, and I see Ben mentioned it there in the chat as well. There was a lot of talk tonight about a Liverpool announcement today, but nothing as of yet. I've been keeping an eye on the media. I haven't seen anything. I've been looking at the Liverpool website as often as I can. Again, of course, nothing's come out. But Naby Keita is here. That's good news. Fabinho is here. That's good news. Joseph Reardon says Diet Chav thing. I tell you what, we're going to make this Diet Chav thing come to life at some point. People who are tuning into the stream for the first time, perhaps, or people who are watching it on playback and have no idea what we're talking about. I don't even know how to explain it to you guys. I don't know how to explain it to you, but Diet Chav is basically... I'm a chav. Look at me. Sure, look at the clothes I wear. I'm definitely a bald chav. I drink shitloads of Diet Coke. We've been pleading with Diet Coke to come on and sponsor the show. We don't even want money. Diet Coke will do. So we decided we'd create our own brand. We'd create a Diet Chav soft drink, And I don't know, but it's caught on. We've even sold some stuff on Redbubble, some Diet Chav t-shirts, some Diet Chav mugs. It's mad. It's so fucking nuts, but it's a good bit of crack. And do you know what? If it takes off, I have an idea in my head. If it takes off, and I don't want to come out with it yet, but I do have an idea, and it's a nice way. It's a nice thing to do. So just leave it with me, and I will come back to you guys. Connor's just saying in the chat, no, we genuinely do own the domain name, Joseph. We really do. I'm not even joking. I'm gonna prove it to you. You probably think I'm on a wind up. You probably think I'm messing about the dietchav.com thing. I'm sadly not. That's just the type of weirdo that I am, guys. Went on last night, and there you go. I'll hold it up, see if you can see it in the camera. We are the proud owners of the domain name dietchav.com. So there you go. Not messing, no fucking about. We genuinely do own it. Thomas Boland says, rumoured that Brighton are looking at Scott Carson, wondering if Matt Ryan links are true. They could well be true. If Kloppo looks like he's going to start the season with Loris Karius in goal, then Matt Ryan makes sense. Matt Ryan would have made sense to me 6 months ago if we were all happy with Loris Karius and he kept progressing like he did. Then I would have been all over Matt Ryan coming in. I would have completely understood why he was coming in. But with what's after happening, and I've been questioning myself over and over again, am I being too harsh on Karius? Is it just because of the game that was in it? Did he have concussion? There's so many unanswered questions there, guys, and I guess it comes down to a personal preference. I like to think I'm a forgiving person. I'm sure you guys are forgiving people as well. But how much trust was there to begin with is basically where I'm trying to work this out. Evan comes back in. Ajax Wonder Kid, Kiana Hoover. That's my best attempt at that, by the way, Evan. But yeah, great signing. Always great to see. I think he's still at trial, isn't he? He's still at trial at Melwood. Or not Melwood, excuse me, at Kirby as far as I remember. Phil says Gelson Martins is set for Atletico. I did not see that, Phil. God, Atletico are doing some good business this summer, aren't they? They aren't fucking about. They've got, after getting in Lamar, obviously, as well. And there was somebody else that Atletico were sniffing around. I can't remember who they... And they're going to sell Kevin Gamero as well, by the way. Phil, you probably know this because obviously you've been keeping an eye on Atletico. It looks like they're going to sell Kevin Gamero, and they're only looking for somewhere around 18 million euro, I think, for Kevin Gamero, which is nuts. Did you guys see that? I'm trying to think of which club this was now, so just bear with me while I think back. I'm pretty sure it's Ronaldo. That Madrid have a deal in place, and I'm pretty sure this is Ronaldo. That there's a 100 million euro buyout clause available for Ronaldo, but it can't be triggered by English clubs, it can't be triggered by PSG, and I don't think it can be triggered by Atletico or Barcelona either. I'm sure I read that in Sky Sports News earlier on. So hence the reason that Juventus are basically sniffing around Ronaldo, because it's been let known to them that 100 million euro buys Cristiano Ronaldo. Seems like they've agreed 30 million euro, I think, over 4 years in wages, so not too shabby. 7.5 million quid a year. Or is it wrong? 6? No, it's way more than that, isn't it? Sorry, it was 600 grand a week. So what does that work out at? 600 grand a week. 120 million euro. Excuse me, I'm way off. 120 million euro over 4 years for Cristiano Ronaldo. Is he worth it? I got to be honest. As much as I don't think he's as good as he was, I'm glad he's going to Juventus and he's not coming back to United, because obviously I don't want to see United strengthened in any way, shape or form. Imran says, remember if Alex Ferguson never got a world-class keeper, they would not have won trophies. When Ferguson came to Man United, he got rid of that Scottish goalkeeper because of his mistakes. Yeah, he struggled at times with goalkeepers, particularly after Schmeichel left. He kind of almost luckily settled on Van der Sar because he brought him in for small money, but he tried Barthez. There was a couple of other goalkeepers as well that were just absolute gash at Manchester United. So you are right, it's not an easy thing to nail down, but there are keepers available at this moment in time. The White Warriors in. Good evening, mate. He says, hi everybody, how's things? Joseph says, did you hear that the Manx want Shaqiri? I did. I mentioned that earlier on in the stream. I don't know how true that is. Connor sent me a WhatsApp earlier on informing me that some Turkish site or something had released something to say that Jose Mourinho had an interest in Sheridan Shaqiri. I don't know. If they have an interest in him, it's fairly simple to go and get him. Trigger his release clause, agree wages with his agent, and the deal's there to be done. So, look, we were all expecting that deal to be announced today, particularly by what was going on last night. It's really interesting, like, that nothing has happened. The ITK'S so far this transfer window have been absolute nonsense. They've been useless. Nobody's got anything right. The other night there was talk of a goalkeeper being signed. Never happened. Yes, the young kid came in from Shamrock Rovers in Ireland, but that's hardly it. That's hardly the person they were talking about. Last night it was all a goalkeeper coming in again. Junior says, is Matt Ryan an upgrade on Karius? No. I would say no, Junior. I'd say probably on par with Karius, maybe in and thereabouts, but definitely I wouldn't call him an upgrade. I wouldn't call him a bad number 2 though. He's a very capable goalkeeper, so I'd say that from but Karius and Matt Ryan are the 2 keepers. I'm worried. I'm very worried. The Juniors, of course. How can I be so wrong, the Junior? He said, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo was still on loan from Manchester United because they still like to think of him as one of theirs, don't they? Skipper Dog says, Matip is still injured. He's still injured. Jesus Christ. That he picks up so many injuries, doesn't he? Really, really does. Mickey says, is anyone else worried we're not investing enough in the team? Everything's too quiet. Do you know what, guys? Before I came on tonight, I sometimes, if I have a little bit of time, I like to look through the comments that you guys have left on streams. And I noticed a comment earlier on, and it's not from somebody I recognise from being in the stream regularly, but it was a fair comment, and it was wrote with courtesy and with respect. It wasn't in any way trolling. But the comment seemed to suggest that FSG, he reckons FSG are doing their usual thing of promising everything and actually nothing happening. That we build up players, we sell them on like Coutinho and stuff, and we bring a couple in, but just looks we're linked to players who we're going to bring in, and their stories leak to the press, and nothing actually happens in the end. So I want to know, what's your take on Fenway Sports Group as the owners of Liverpool Football Club? I don't think this is a subject we've broached yet on this stream. I have my own views, but I don't want to taint your views by telling you what my views are. So I'd be really interested to have a little chat with you guys and see how you're feeling about the owners. Are you ambivalent about them? Do you think they're the best thing since sliced bread? Are you anti-FSG? I'm not going to sway what you guys think. I just really want to know how you feel about the whole ownership. And then, of course, I will tell you how I feel. Phil saying, I'm choosing to remain calm and relaxed about any possible moves. The World Cup ain't finished yet. It's a good show. The White Warrior says, give Danny Ward a chance, Craig. I mean, I would have been all up for giving Danny Ward a chance last year, mate. I really would have. I wanted Danny Ward in ahead of Mignolet as the backup goalkeeper, but it doesn't look like Kloppo thinks he's good enough. I mean, that seems to be the black and white of the situation, because he hasn't given him an opportunity to prove himself. He must see him in training, and he must have watched the videos of him playing for Huddersfield and Aberdeen, and he just mustn't rate him that highly. I hope he moves on though, for his sake, because he's certainly a good enough goalkeeper to have a high level professional career. So I hate seeing players stagnate. I've mentioned it before. So I hope for his sake Danny Ward moves on, and I can imagine that there'll be a host of clubs that'll be looking to take him. Louis says, Craig, imagine if we only signed Fabinho this window. That would be... That's not going to happen. I mean, look, that's worst case scenario, and I think it's fair to say that isn't going to happen. We're going to bring in a couple more signings. Naby Keita, some people can look at it either way. People can say it was done last year. People can say he arrived this year. Either way, he's a great signing. There's no two ways about that. Colin says, Karius for real? Is Jurgen serious? I suppose, buddy, look, at this point, we're all just guessing. I suppose we've seen the Echo come out with the stories that maybe Jurgen Klopp will be starting Karius as the number 1 next season. We have to just wait and see. That's the position we're in as fans. But I'd be with you. My ideal scenario would be us bringing in a stronger goalkeeper. Obviously, look, Alisson, Oblak, even Donnarumma to an extent. But to start with Karius, I'm bringing Matt Ryan. And again, Matt Ryan may not be genuine. That's just a link that's floating around there. Cillison was another one that we've seen mentioned quite a lot. They're not upgrades either. They're there or thereabouts at the same level as Karius. So to spend whatever it might be, if it was Cillison, it's looking like 25-30 million quid. To what? To stay on a par with Karius? It doesn't really make much sense to me when you can double that and get in the goalkeeper that might actually change your season or change your future for the next 5 or 6 years. The Junior says, the Daily Express can be unreliable, but I do still think Fekir will happen. They most certainly can be unreliable. I think that's a fair thing to say. And I'm with you on Fekir as well. Be interesting to see now in the next couple of days how France get on, because that Uruguay game is going to be very, very tricky for them. Yeah, they won't make it easy for France. DZB is in. Good evening, sir. Nice to see you again. Squisms is in. Good evening to you as well. The Junior says, war chest, aggressive spending. certainly phrases that we've seen mentioned over the past couple of summers, mate. I mean, I got sick of hearing the word war chest last summer, and I'm sure you guys did as well. Although I have to say that war chest, that was never really something that was put out by the club. I think that was a media started thing. Imran Khan says LFC subs Reina, Gomez, Lovren, Matip, Moreno, Ox, Milner, Grujic, Lallana, Kent, Wilson, Woodburn, Brewster, Sturridge, Origi. Well, Reina isn't here, so I'm not really sure about that one. He's gone to AC Milan. Phil, are you really FSG out, buddy? That's very interesting to know. I'm not. Obviously, there's no judgment here either way, guys. Everybody is, of course, respected. Once you're respectful on here, your views are your own, and we'll have a chat about things. But I just want to get a gauge on it. So Phil's FSG out. I think one of our own guys, Tom. When we started this podcast, Tom was I should say he was more anti-FSG than pro-FSG. I think he may have softened a bit as time has gone on, but Tom is going to join me tomorrow night, actually. So you guys asked the other night, somebody asked about a Q&A. So Tom is going to join me tomorrow night. I'm still trying to see if I can pin down somebody else to join us, but we will be doing a Q&A straight after the second quarter-final tomorrow night. So we'll be doing a Q&A. You guys have anything you want to know about Anfield Agenda, anything you want to know about Tom, myself, or whoever else joins the stream, tomorrow is your chance. Hit us up with questions. We will be as honest and as forthright as we can be. Again, we're just responding to what you guys asked for. So Tom is going to join me. Maybe you can ask him some more FSG questions there, and he can probably fill you in a lot better than I can, because it's not really fair for me to be on here talking about Tom's views. Lalu is okay with FSG. The juniors in the middle, like how they balance the books, but we need to spend now on a goalkeeper and Fekir to really push on. The White Warrior says FSG saved us from bankruptcy, Craig, and they'll buy soon. Aaron says score predictions for Uruguay versus France 2-1. I'm going 3-1 to France, and I think you're probably going to see the two ladder goals for France coming quite late when Uruguay tire. The owners are not too bad. They're a bit careful at spending. Look at Chelsea, they overspend on crap and they're shite now, which is a good point from Colleen again. But what I would say there is what Chelsea have done very well is buy up some of the best young talent around Europe, loan them out to feeder clubs, get them game time, and then sell them on for a profit. So I think as much as Chelsea have bought some pretty shitty first teamers at times, I think overall the way they've worked their transfer window, I don't agree with the amount of players that they own, but the way they've worked it, they've certainly turned a profit. The junior thinks 2-1 to France. Imran says no, the owners like selling more than buying. Why can't LFC get Schmeichel? I don't think he's good enough, is my personal view. There's lots of people that are very pro Kasper Schmeichel. I just think again he's there or thereabouts. His father though, now his father was a whole different level. Peter Schmeichel is probably, I'd say probably the best goalkeeper I've seen in my lifetime, and I'm putting him ahead of the likes of Manuel Neuer. The only one who may compete with him is Gianluigi Buffon, but the two of them would be, top of the tree for me for goalkeepers in my generation. Thomas says FSG took a while to build up the Red Sox and they won titles eventually. Yeah, we think we were bad with not winning the Premier League title, guys. The curse of the Bambino and the Red Sox, that was much longer, and they had to wait a hell of a lot longer than we have so far for a league title. So, as Thomas said, they turned around the Red Sox, but that was a passion project to an extent, I think, Thomas. They're from Boston, they're big baseball fans. I think they would have went into that with a bit of passion as well as obviously business acumen. So I don't think they have the same passion for Liverpool, but again, I'm just guessing that to an extent because they may have been won over. They might well love the club for all I know. But they certainly didn't come into Liverpool as passionate Liverpool supporters. Mickey Fire says FSG have saved the club, improved the off-field stuff, and the Anfield improvements are impressive. The Anfield improvements are absolutely spot on. They're brilliant. The new main stand is stunning. The area around Anfield is night and day from when I started going there when I was younger. Everything about the whole area of Anfield. They're going to look at doing the Annie Road end, obviously, which would be brilliant again. I think there's a hotel getting built there, cafes, the new club shop. Yeah, that's a great point, Mickey. They have vastly improved the experience of going to a game at Anfield. So I completely agree with you on that one. Louis says, so is Sheridan Shaqiri coming or not? That's what we're all trying to work out. Obviously, as days go by and and the deal hasn't been signed, or he hasn't been announced, or the club haven't even spoken on it. More and more links for Shaqiri keep popping up. Today, links out with Turkey, we're linking him with Manchester United. The junior says, but Chelsea had a successful period due to spending. They did, much like Manchester City. Chelsea had a system where Abramovich came in and they really front loaded. So they spent a shitload of money for a couple of years to build up the squad. And once you get to that stage, you then seem to be just topping up, don't you? You seem to be just bringing in that one or two. Somewhere along the line for Chelsea, it's after gone a little bit wrong. Look, they won the league title a couple of years ago and they were very impressive doing it. But they're not a dynasty. They never really created a dynasty like Manchester United did under Alex Ferguson. Like Pep may well be doing under Manchester City, and like hopefully Jurgen Klopp is doing for Liverpool. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. And Manchester City front loaded an awful lot as well under Pep, haven't they? 50 million quid on fullbacks. They were the first ones to be spending that type of money. Broke the world record for a goalkeeper. And they brought in Kevin De Bruyne. They're spending huge money on wages. 50 million for Raheem Sterling when 50 million was an awful lot of money. But they're getting the success. They've won the Premier League a couple of times. Obviously once under Pep. They hadn't had that Champions League success though, and I think for Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, everything will be judged on his Champions League success. The junior says, imagine messing up a deal for Shaqiri. I don't think they would mess it up. I think it's genuinely going to be a matter of if they want him or not. It's a fairly simple deal, I imagine, to do. They go in, they trigger the release clause, they agree a fee they agree a wage with his agent, and the agent sorts out his few bob. Cop Idle is in. Good evening, sir. Lovely to see you again. Great to have you in. Darren says, come on, England. Connor, great news. Connor says he should be able to join us tomorrow night as well. So you'll have myself, you'll have Connor, and you'll have Tom. Brilliant. That's a good stream. So get your questions ready for that Q&A. Ask us anything you want to know, whether it be stuff about what we're going to do on Anfield Agenda, stuff about our personal lives, whatever it is, just let us know. What else have we got? Mickey Fryer says our net spend is less than most Premier League clubs. It is, and net spend is a very interesting subject, Mickey. We can look at net spend a couple of ways, and again, I'm not in any way professing to be a football finance expert, absolutely a million miles from it. But what I always question with net spend is if people want our net spend to increase, you have to look at the sales that the club have done as well. And I think under Michael Edwards and under Fenway Sports Group, Liverpool have been very successful in moving players on for very, very good transfer fees. So if we were moving players on for less money, then obviously our net spend will be a little bit better or a little bit greater. But I think the important thing to judge here is league position, the strength of the squad in general, and do we look like we're progressing? That's where I have a little bit of a false... I think sometimes net spend can be a bit of a false economy. And I know people can say, look at the net spend of the clubs that have won the Premier League in the past 10 years. I get that side of it. But I don't think for Liverpool, under this manager, net spend is going to be the be all and end all, because I think we've been quite clever in how we've gone about our business. I would agree that from time to time I'd like to see us do another Virgil van Dijk. I'd like to see us go down and throw money down for the players that we want. Was Virgil van Dijk perhaps a little bit tainted by what happened with Coutinho? That them two deals happening so close, it did take a little bit of the gloss off it for me, but it's still a great signing, and we still, overall, I think we've strengthened the team. What else have we got in the chat? Lots of chat popping up tonight, guys, so excuse me, I will try and get through it as quickly as I can. I do like to try and read out as many of your comments as I can, because I appreciate you taking the time to write them. Joseph said he's still out on them. I keep coming back to net spend with them Yanks. They do one good thing, then two bad things with the ticket prices and shit like that. A bit 50-50. I think a lot of people can be that way, Joseph, to be fair. They've definitely made mistakes. There's no surer thing than they've made mistakes. They've made a couple of PR gaffes as well. But they've done some really, really good things, and sometimes some of the good things that the club done isn't seen, especially in and around the community. Like Liverpool are very active in and around the local community, doing charity work, stuff like that, and it doesn't always get seen. Right, what else have we got here in the chat? I think I've caught up somewhat in the chat. Phil says, Alisson to Chelsea is gathering pace, and so is Courtois to Real. Well, I think the Courtois to Real Madrid thing it looks pretty nailed to me anyway. From my view of this, he's got 1 year left on his contract. If Real Madrid are interested in bringing in whether it be Mbappe or Neymar, because the two of them have been linked, so God knows which one they actually want, it makes sense that they're going to try and strengthen the keeper position for as little as they can. Courtois certainly is the calibre of goalkeeper that would probably satisfy the Real Madrid fans. They get him for a reasonable price. Then Chelsea are obviously going to be on the lookout for a keeper, so Alisson being available, will they pay the 70 odd million? I don't know, but it makes sense. I can't believe that clubs aren't tripping over themselves to sign Donnarumma, by the way, with AC Milan's issues at the minute. I honestly just can't believe that there isn't offers going in left, right and centre for him. I think I seen a question earlier on about Pepe Reina, so I'm just going to scroll back through. Imran asked, had Reina joined AC Milan? Yes, as far as I'm aware. If he hasn't joined, he is like this close to joining, but I think that deal has gone through. The junior says, I swear it should be an easy deal though, just matches release clause and wages. Again, I think that's about Shaqiri and something we spoke about. Nick says, have you guys ever checked out what FSG did with the Boston Red Sox? They know what they're doing. To an extent I have. I'm not going to claim to have an intimate knowledge of Boston Red Sox and baseball in general. But again, I do stress that that was a passion project to an extent. But there's no doubt of their credentials as owning sports franchises. Absolutely no doubt about that in my eyes whatsoever. They know what they're doing when it comes to getting an asset, making it more marketable, bringing in partners, making it more profitable, increasing its social awareness and the brand value around the world. They've done a fantastic job with that. The club is night and day to when they took over in that extent. I guess it all boils down to success on the pitch for fans though, Nick, and probably not through any fault of FSG, to be fair. We haven't really had that success. We've been close. I mean, we were so close this summer. Winning the Champions League, and look, circumstances that are beyond anybody's control cost us that. So I get where you're coming from, and I do appreciate wholeheartedly that they know what they're doing running a sports franchise. I absolutely get that. And I don't like calling the Liverpool a sports franchise, by the way. They're a football club, but you know, I'm just trying to address it in the grand overall scheme of things. And says he's looking forward to seeing Keita and Fabinho in red shirts at the weekend. As am I, buddy. I really am. Obviously, you can't judge too much on the pre-season, but it's going to be nice to see the lads get a run out, isn't it? Thomas says, have FSG balanced the books after that Hicks and Gillette farce? Yes, absolutely. I mean, 100% as far as I know. I think the club, they did finance the stadium, and I think they did give Liverpool pretty much an interest-free loan. Again, from my very little knowledge of football finance, I think there was a small amount of interest on that loan, but that interest is only there to allow for inflation over the period of the loan or something. It's not actually an interest rate. Again, limited understanding of it. I've no idea how the likes of amortization and stuff like that works. I'm by no means a fucking accountant or anything, but as far as I know, yes, they've absorbed any losses that were there from Hicks and Gillette's time. So again, probably another plus. Phil says, don't know if it's true, but Cavani is out tomorrow. I would imagine that's probably true, Phil, looking at the way he went off during that last game. I mean, he hasn't had much time to recover, so if he did pick up an injury, I would have, it'd be a miracle if he started for me tomorrow. So looks like, it could be just Suarez. They could be reliant on Suarez and Godin to get them through. Look, they have a great team there. For a country of 3.5 million, Uruguay are doing absolutely amazing things. That's pretty comparable with the size of Ireland here. And I mean the Republic of Ireland. So for them to be doing what they're doing constantly and that level of world football with the nation that they have, the amount of people that they have, it's tremendous. They're really punching above their weight. Very interesting game, this Uruguay-France game. Two really contrasting styles. Uruguay obviously are, look, we've said it before, they're almost the Atletico Madrid of international football in the way they play. And France, you just don't know. France can turn up and they can be awesome. Kylian Mbappe can tear teams apart. Griezmann can be sharp. Pogba can show up as well. Anything can happen, or they can sulk, they can be shit, and they can just not show up. So it'll be really interesting to see how it works out. Phil says, I've been FSG out for ages, but I want to be FSG in. I think we all have to be open-minded to an extent about everything, Phil, in regards to the football club. I suppose on life in general. So it's good that it's not just a hatred for you, that you are open to your mind changing and you're open to being impressed by things that they do. So, I mean, fair play to you in that sense. Junior says, Shaqiri and Fekir will happen, bro. I don't think a keeper will, though. Thomas Boland says, got to get Diet Chav on the sleeves of your Liverpool shirts this season. Oh, scenes if that happens. Can you imagine that? Diet Chav take over and Western Union are out. That would be nice. That certainly would be nice. Although that would be costing us money, wouldn't it? Rather than us making any money. So that would be more money gone out. Oh, excuse me. A bit tired. What else have we got? Skipper Dog says, I don't know how I feel about them. I'm 50-50 on them. Last season I was much more happier with the investment. But this season we need to push on and go for the league. A keeper is a must. Mickey Fires is 50-50. The White Warrior says that Jan Sommer and the Sweden keeper Olsen look decent. They'd be an upgrade on Karius Craig. Isn't it Mönchengladbach that Jan Sommer plays for? And I've no idea who the Swedish keeper plays for. I've seen Jan Sommer a little bit in the Bundesliga. I've no idea about the Swedish goalkeeper at all. I haven't even watched Sweden much in the World Cup, to be fair. But Jan Sommer, I would probably put him on a par with Karius again, or maybe a slight upgrade, but I wouldn't be happy if he came in as the replacement or as the number 2 or there's someone to challenge Karius. Maybe I'm like a spoiled brat at this point. Maybe I'm just wanting somebody to, or maybe I'm just wanting the club to really go out and splash the cash. Or maybe I'm being unrealistic. Connor says someone downvoted. It's happening every night at this point, buddy. It's hilarious. We went a really long period with nobody giving us a thumbs down. Then all of a sudden, we regularly get about 2 or 3, I think, per stream. But look, fuck them. If you guys are enjoying the stream, if you like what we're doing, give us a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Be part of the solution. Help us grow the channel. And we'll keep coming back. We'll keep coming back most nights and we'll keep chatting to you guys. And as the season goes on, we'll enjoy it together. We'll go through the highs together, the lows together. And fingers crossed there'll be a lot more highs than lows. Ben says, I think Shaqiri will be announced by the end of the week. Just because he had an interview yesterday. You had Twitter saying it would be today, but I never believed it would be today. The Junior says, if Ronaldo does join Juve, Dybala could definitely move on. And that's an interesting point, actually. They may need to free up some money. So, yeah, I think there wouldn't be a shortage of suitors either for Dybala. And I fucking love Liverpool to be in from. Mr. Bugsar says, hi Craig, you look very well tonight. Were you up in court today? Nice shirt. No, it's not really shirt. It's just I keep going for the wrong side because I'm reversed. No, it's just an Under Armour polo shirt, buddy. I had a shave though, so maybe not that I ever grow a beard or anything. So maybe I just look a little bit cleaner. And no court appearances today. No. Luke says Shaqiri is still likely to come. And just going to the chat again. Excuse me, guys. I'm skipping through the chat. I'm missing some. I'm trying to get back through it. Where are we? Cop Idol says, question Craig, would you swap any trophy for Liverpool, but it meant your national team winning the World Cup? Connor asked me that very question earlier on. He said to me, would you rather Ireland win the World Cup or Liverpool to win the Premier League? My answer was Liverpool, hands down. Hands down, Liverpool to win the Premier League would mean more to me than Ireland to win the World Cup. Call me an unpatriotic bastard, but I've waited since I think 8 years of age, so I don't really remember Liverpool winning the Premier or winning the First Division title back then. So for me, Liverpool winning the Premier League would certainly be a marked moment in my life, and something that I'd never forget. Obviously, I'd enjoy Ireland winning the World Cup. Who wouldn't? But that would be my answer, buddy. What about you? Would you rather see... excuse me, I can't remember if you're Irish, English, or where you're from. So would you rather see your national team win the World Cup or Liverpool win the Premier League? Because I think that's the one we need to work off. Because I've seen the Champions League. You probably must have as well. 1977, you definitely have seen us winning the Champions League. And of course, if you're born in 77, you probably remember our last league success more than I do. You'd probably be, you're 4 years older than me. Mm-mm. The White Warrior says Higuain going to Chelsea if Ronaldo signs for Juve. I mean, Chelsea, they've been linked with everybody so far, haven't they? Every big player Chelsea seem to have been linked with. It would make sense, to be fair. But again, is he past his best, Higuain? And I've been a massive Gonzalo Higuain fan throughout his entire career, especially at Napoli. I thought he was unbelievable. But is he? I think maybe he's on the downward spiral, so I wouldn't be so worried if he went to Chelsea. Imran says, remember this team: Grobler, Nickel, Hansen, Lawrence, Beglin, McMahon, Whelan, Houghton, Barnes, Beardsley, Aldridge. Just about remember that team, mate. I just about remember it. Sniper Jewel says, I don't think the ITKs are wrong. Liverpool fans enjoy the idea of cheap backup. Probably the player has other ideas, like playing on a team that's gone to field him most of the times. I just think the reason I was saying about ITKs being wrong, Sniper Jewels, mate, is because there was a lot of talk about a signing being announced today, and nothing has happened as of yet. So from that extent, this is where I put in the whole ITKs were incorrect. Escapado says, spend where they needed to. Sound familiar? I don't get that, buddy, sorry. Thomas says, hit the likes, people. Yeah, please do. Do what Thomas says. Baked Beans. Love that name. But Chelsea's model is proving unsustainable now. Is it though? That's what I'm wondering. And again, when I say is it, I'm not saying it is. It's a genuine question. I just think that the money they bring in through selling players around Europe, younger players, has vastly propped up what they've spent. Again, I've no idea about their wages and stuff, so you may well be correct. And they certainly aren't a squad that I'd look at now and think that they were amazing, so I get where you're coming from. Hazard is certainly making noises like he wants to get out. Courtois looks like he's going to be moving on, so I understand where you're coming from, mate. And as I said, it was a genuine question when I came back to you with, is it though? Squism says FSG pursue Klopp because he likes to work with players already at clubs and pursue a few new players. If Klopp wanted 5+ players in a window, they would show him the door. Yeah, I agree with you on the part about Klopp liking to work with players already at the club. I think he's a big believer in increasing players' ability through coaching. I think that's fair enough to say. He said it himself time and time again. I don't think he's afraid to go out and get players either. I think he just has very, very strong ideas about the type of player he wants and who he wants, and he's not really willing to settle for lower down that list, unless, of course, the second or third person on that list is somebody like a Mane, because we've seen that happen before. Mane wasn't top of the list. I kind of get where you're coming from, but I would disagree a little bit. But I don't have any doubts that Klopp was the manager FSG wanted beyond anybody else, because he would probably give them the biggest bang for their buck. So I get where you're coming from on that one. Escapado says Liverpool need to sort a goalkeeper this summer. If not, it'll come back to bite. And again, I agree. Imran says LFC will conquer UK and Europe if they get a goalkeeper. Again, I agree. Louis says, I don't know why people are complaining about Shaqiri. I think 13 million is a bargain and he'll also be a good backup to have. You cannot question that fee in my eyes, mate. You cannot question getting a player of that experience, of that capability. Although he doesn't provide that level of performance all the time, I get that. But for 13 or 13 million quid, it seems a no-brainer to me to bring in somebody like Shaqiri to provide cover for the front three, or to, come in and rotate and give players a rest. I totally get it, and I think most Liverpool fans do, to be fair. Mark Ames says, what's your view on Klopp allegedly sticking with Karius? I disagree. I disagree immensely, Mark. Psychologically, I can't see a way back for Karius, and obviously I'm not Loris Karius, so I have no idea what his mental strength is. I think every time he does anything that even resembles a mistake, delays, dithers, anything at all, the crowd are going to be on his back. You'll feel the tension inside the stadium. Do you remember around Mignolet, when Mignolet was fucking up his kickouts and stuff? Every time a ball was played back to him, you could almost hear an intake of breath inside the stadium. So I think it's a massive gamble by Jurgen Klopp. Not one that I personally would agree with. One, of course, that I will abide by and support the club like I always do. But it's probably the big. If he does now, again, none of us know this for certain. But if he does stick with Karius, I think it's his biggest gamble so far as Liverpool manager, and the biggest risk that he's taken by a country mile. Again, though, Mark, I'd love to know your thoughts. So please put it in the comments and let me know what you think about the Karius situation. Skipper Dog says net spending and wages is important. Best players get paid the best money. I can't argue with that. The best players do get paid the best money, but I think the way we've gone about doing things is we bring players in on hugely incentive based contracts, and then when they start hitting those targets that they're put into their contracts, then we renegotiate, and that's where you're seeing the likes of Mo Salah, Bobby Firmino getting muchly, that's not even a fucking word, vastly improved contracts. But yeah, you're right. The big players do get paid the big bucks. Money says if Liverpool signed Shaqiri, Klopp should allow him to take all the corners because last season he got most assists from corners. I mean, he can certainly take a set piece. I'm getting you there. England, by the way, how impressive have England been at set pieces during this World Cup? They must have drilled the shit out of them on the training ground because they look massively impressive. June the Maya 34, and excuse me if I mispronounce that name. If you can't spend money on a player, what's the point in having money in the first place? I get you. I totally understand. We all know there's money in the bank. We know the Coutinho money, or some of the Coutinho money, obviously, because we bought Fabinho, is there. So I get you. I'm with you. I agree with you 100%. I'd rather us go and invest the money than just have it sitting there. Baked Bean says, I don't mind Chelsea getting Alisson and selling Courtois. We smashed 5 past him. I'd rather we got him though, if I'm being honest. But I get where you're coming from. And I love the optimism. I love the positivity. So keep it coming, buddy. And by the way, I think this is the first time I've seen you in the chat, Baked Bean. So thank you for joining in. I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the streams. And lovely to see you. Skipper Dog says, FSG are great for the club, not great for the team. Nick Ross says, Keylor Navas. I would take Keylor Navas. I really would. And a lot of people may disagree with me on this one. Where we stand now, right now, with the keeper situation being what it is, if you offered me Keylor Navas, I would bite your hand off. He wouldn't be in the top 3 that I'd go out and pick. But if you said to me, Craig, you can have Keylor Navas in goal the first game of the season, or you can have Karius in goal the first game of the season, I would take Keylor Navas every single day of the week. Without a doubt. So again, really good point. And again, put in the chat, let me guys know what you think. Would you take Keylor Navas at Liverpool? Thomas is straight in. He said we should take Keylor Navas if he's available. Ben says Matip isn't injured. He's not match fit and still recovering from surgery. Imran says, I'm very sorry, but Karius' Instagram proved what a selfish person he is. This guy who destroyed millions of LFC fans around the world's dreams, I'd not ever let him play for the club again. I'm not on Instagram, Imran, mate, but I've seen a couple of people in our WhatsApp group earlier on talking about this Instagram story or something that he did. I think a friend of his or something is a movie maker or something. I kind of have an idea of what you're talking about, but I think he has to start reintroducing himself to social media to an extent and dipping his toe in the water. He has to get back to normality. He can't constantly be letting this go around in his head. So, I mean, the guy has to have a life. The guy has to be allowed to live. For me, it only matters what Loris Karius does on the football field. Outside the football field, the guy can do what he wants. He's a human being. You know, he's entitled to a life as much as everybody else, and I wish him a happy life like every other Liverpool player. But yeah, I've no doubt he's worked on his footballing game and his mindset over the summer as well. And I've no doubt he'd many sleepless nights about what happened. So I wouldn't say he's brushed it off. No, not by a long shot. Imran says, Klopp, please bring rain and tell him to cancel it and come back to LFC. Mickey Fryer says, question for you, Craig. Are FSG here for the long term or just moving the club in the right direction to sell to someone who can take us on further? I suppose, what's the long term? I mean, I'd say they're probably going to be here for minimum 10 years. I'm a bit worried, though, about the sale part. And look, I have absolutely no problem with Fenway Sports Group coming into Liverpool, buying the club, I shouldn't call it an asset, buying the football club, improving the football club, improving the stadium, improving the facilities, building a new training ground, possibly improving the Annie Road end as well, bringing us in Jurgen Klopp, making us much more marketable around the world, bringing in new sponsors, making us a bigger brand around the world, and selling us on for a profit. They're perfectly entitled to do that. I mean, if you and I went out tomorrow and bought a house, and we seen a house that was available on a really good street for 25-30% less than every other house on the street because it was a bit of a fixer-upper. Most of us, if we had the money, would go buy that house, fix it up, flip it, and sell it for a profit. I mean, that's the way a lot of businesses work. So I've no problem with that side of it. Where I would be worried about is who the hell buys the club. Because for the type of money that we're talking about here, you're not going to get somebody to come in and buy the club as a single investor. It's most likely going to be a venture capital fund or an investment fund, or possibly an arm of a government branch if it was like Dubai or China or something like that. And again, how much are they genuinely going to care about the football club? Like, I'd much rather have Fenway Sports Group run in Liverpool than have the guys that run Manchester United, as an example. So it's a tough question. It's a loaded question to an extent because there's no right answer. There probably is no dream shake or dream baron out there to come in and buy Liverpool Football Club. It is going to be another investment firm, most likely, or as I said, a branch of a government that come in and buy Liverpool. So let me know what you think, Mickey. It's a tough question. Ideally for me, I'd like them to stick around. I'd like them to keep working on improving and keep building the club. Maybe invest a little bit more in the squad. Like, we all want more players to come in, let's not lie. But they're solid owners to an extent. I mean, that they haven't been taking money out of the football club. They're not milking us dry. They're not they haven't, what's the word I'm looking for here? They haven't, when Hicks and Gillette came in, they leveraged the shit out of the football club against loans. They basically bought the club by putting the value of the club against debt. They haven't done that. They've come in and bought the club with their own money. The club own no money. The club are in a very healthy state. Well, I say they own no money. They owe FSG for the building of the main stand, but that'll be paid off. I think it was it 10 years? Something like that? I can't remember. But they're pretty decent owners, to be fair. I did say I'd give you guys my opinion on Fenway Sports Group once I read through your comments. And for me, I have gone up and I've gone down. I've been happy with them. I've been unhappy with them. Overall, I think they've certainly done more good things than bad things. I think their heart's in the right place to an extent, although I don't think they're here purely just to make Liverpool a success. They're obviously here from a business point of view. I think they've listened at times. They may have got things wrong. But overall, I'd probably give them a 6.5, 7 out of 10. They've been fairly decent owners, and I'd certainly be much happier with them than I have been obviously with Hicks and Gillette or anyone like that. So I'm fairly okay with Fenway Sports Group being the owners of Liverpool Football Club for the time being anyway. Johnny says Ronaldo to Juventus looks likely now. It really is. Every day that goes by, that deal is starting to look more and more likely. And €100 million, I genuinely have no idea if that's a good deal or a bad deal, mate. I don't know. I suppose you can look at it one way. You know they're going to make money back from merchandising and probably new sponsors coming into the football club. But if you look at it purely from a football perspective, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to bring to Juventus at 33, heading for 34 years of age. It's a tough one. And they're giving him a 4-year deal as well, which to me seems madness. Skipper Dog says, baseball hasn't got 30 top teams after the best players. Can't compare the two clubs. Sean says, gets me through the week. These videos keep them up, lad. Thanks a million, Sean. And I always appreciate your comments as well, Sean. I know sometimes you don't get to watch the streams live, but you're always commenting on them afterwards, and I appreciate it, mate. Thank you. Luke says, do you see any deals getting done soon? I'd hope so. I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to actually stick my neck out and think we'll probably see something done before Tuesday. I'd a guess, and again, complete guess. Just going by the feeling of what's going on in the media, and the Shaqiri deal, if it's going to happen, it has to happen soon, because he's out of the World Cup now. He's on his holidays, but I always thought if it was going to happen, he'd come in, get it done before he heads off on his holidays, and get the deal signed, do his medical, go relax for a few weeks, get his deserved time off, and come back ready to go for the pre-season. Joseph Reardon says a lot of the lads will be looking to impress and get a move during pre-season, and I think you're spot on. It's definitely a shop window for some of those players. Munayin says, I had a nightmare last night. Karius was playing for the first game and he made a horrible mistake. Oh mate, don't do it to me. Do not do it to me. Do you know what? I was downstairs earlier on. We're doing a little bit of work in our house. So we're doing some stuff in the living room. And I was going through some cabinets and some presses and stuff, and I was looking through folders and things like that. And I found some lovely Liverpool artwork that I forgot I had. I forgot I got it last year from Liverpool Tunes, so I hadn't got time today, but tomorrow I'm going to take the time and I'm going to put them up behind me here on the wall. So I think there's images of Mo Salah, Adam Lallana, Sadio Mane as well, if I remember correctly. And they're really nice cartoons, really well drawn. So if I get a chance tomorrow, I'll put them up behind me on the wall. I know you guys are probably sick of looking at this bare ass brick wall effect behind me, but I will jazz it up as time goes by, I do promise. Thomas says FSG won't sell Liverpool till we become serial winners. I hope so. I mean, I hope we become serial winners, of course. Johnny says, Craig, do you want a new keeper at any cost? I do. If you're talking about at any cost from a financial perspective, within reason, yes. Reason being, I'd be quite willing to pay Oblak's release clause. I'd be quite happy for us to pay his release clause. So yes, I suppose to an extent, I'd be more than happy for Liverpool to break the world record for a goalkeeper. It's the most important position for me of the summer. I'd rather see, if we had to choose between a goalkeeper and another forward, it's a goalkeeper for me all day long, even though I'm well aware that we're an injury away to that front three from being up shit creek. But that's how strongly I rate this problem we have with the goalkeeper. The White Warrior says AC Milan wouldn't sell Donnarumma, Craig, for no less than 50 million. That's a fact, mate, so nobody's going in for him. They have issues with FFP. They've been kicked out of Europe for next season. They're after bringing Pepe Reina in. They've pretty much let it be known that Donnarumma's for sale by bringing in Pepe Reina. Donnarumma's younger brother was there as a backup keeper at AC Milan as well. I think, again, this is just my opinion, mate, I think 38 million quid will probably buy Donnarumma, and I think that would be a great buy for any club. But even at the money you're talking about there, even at 40, 45, 50 million quid, I still think it's a good deal compared to what's being asked of us for Alisson and Oblak. DZB says you're looking forward to Saturday's friendly against Chester. I really am, actually, and I don't usually care much about pre-season. I'm not really one to get excited about pre-season, but it feels like forever since I've seen the Reds, so yes, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing them get a run out. I always like seeing the new kits out as well. We seen them at the last home game of last season, but I want to see Naby Keita and Fabinho and the new kits out in the field, so definitely looking forward to it. Joseph says, why loan him? Just rip up his contract. Probably because you probably find that Galatasaray aren't paying all of his wages. So Liverpool are probably going to be on the hook for a small percentage of his wages, or maybe even more than a small percentage. Hence the reason we're not ripping up his contract. We could just pay him off, I suppose, in a lump sum for whatever the difference is and send him off to Galatasaray. But obviously the club know what they're doing. Maybe it helps them from an accounting point of view or something, I don't know. Imran says, what's wrong with the Egypt goalkeeper or the Tunisia keeper? Isn't the Egypt goalkeeper like 46 or something? Are you thinking of the other Egyptian keeper? I don't know. I just remember that isn't he the oldest player ever to play in a World Cup or something like that? Phil says Liverpool have asked after Pablo Dybala, according to reports in Italy. Oh, can you imagine, mate? Can you imagine Dybala coming into that Liverpool team? Imagine Dybala in behind Bobby Firmino, Mane, and Mo Salah. Jesus Christ, that would be just carnage. I know Klopp likes to unleash madness on a football field, but that would be absolute carnage. Johnny O'Donnell says, what is ITK? Oh, sorry, excuse me, I should have explained this. An ITK is somebody who claims to be in the know. So they claim to have knowledge on things in and around a football club or transfer news and stuff like that. So yeah, ITK just stands for in the know. It's a kind of slang term that people use in social media to talk about people who really talk out their arse in regards to football transfers. The White Warrior says Donnarumma makes mistakes, Craig, cost him Milan in the final of the Coppa Italia. just gone against Juve. Yeah, of course, he's 18 years of age or 19 years of age. He's going to make mistakes. That's what I think I've said this in the last couple of streams. If we were to sign him, I'd be quite aware that he's going to make mistakes for a year or two, but you're probably sorting out your goalkeeping position for the next 8 to 10 years, and he is going to improve as he goes along. There's a good goalkeeper in there, and I'd happily have him at Liverpool. But again, it's all about opinions, buddy, and I respect yours, of course, as well. Joseph says, "Oh, Dybala, I'd love him. I mean, he'd be an amazing sign. He just would. There's facets about his game that need work, but on the whole, he's a fabulous footballer." I think Shaqiri wants to be more than a cheap backup, as some individuals are claiming in here. Probably going to a club where he becomes an important player. Doubt he's willing to go back to position. I suppose the thing about that, though, is Shaqiri seems to be a very, very confident person. And I have no doubt in my mind that he probably thinks he can force his way into that Liverpool team. And he had the opportunity to be the big fish in the small pond at Stoke. And he complained constantly about the calibre of players around him just not being good enough. Even look at the national team. He's the star of that national team. And everything has to go through him a lot of the time. So I think he might actually relish another chance of playing at a top club. He had spells at Inter Milan, obviously Bayern Munich, and it didn't quite work out for him. So I don't know, I think he'd probably be looking for one last big club. He's 26 years of age, so he still has time to turn his career around. Nathan says, Dybala doing the rounds on Twitter. Oh God, people are teasing me tonight. That would be just amazing. Imran says, Liverpool definitely need a goalkeeper, Mr. Klopp. AB Gaming says, Julian Brandt is a good player for Liverpool. He wants to go to Bayern Munich, buddy. Yeah, I think he's turned us down before. I think at the time we heard he turned us down because he wanted to be guaranteed game time to get to the World Cup. But from the couple of people that we know in Germany, and Dave has much better links to German football than I do, it seems to be going around Germany that he wants to move to Bayern Munich, and Julian Brandt has all his eggs in that basket, apparently. But again, I'm not the gospel when it comes to German football. He also thinks Liverpool need Kasper Schmeichel. There's been a fair few shouts in the chat for Kasper Schmeichel. I didn't realise so many of you guys rated him so highly. I hope this isn't just because of his performance the other night for Denmark, because although that was massively impressive, Fenerbahce. I'm sure 5 minutes ago somebody said it was Galatasaray. Thomas says Olsen's at Copenhagen. Lalu says he'd take Nick Pope. Nathan says Dybala 80 to 100 million would be Fekir and Shaqiri. I'd be happy though. I'd be so happy for Dybala. I don't care about price. I'd be over the moon if he signed. Actually, one player in the Italian league who I think a lot of people might like at Liverpool, but who I don't think will cut the mustard is Lorenzo Insigne. I think he's a selfish little shit who takes far too much out of the ball and needs to learn how to be a team player. Again, just my opinion though. I've seen a couple of people mention his name before. God, I'm falling so far behind again in this chat. Mark says Courtois will be a bad signing. The league title is the bread and butter of the game and Liverpool's existence. Cameron says, I honestly feel FSG aren't ambitious enough to win trophies compared to our rivals. Ferno says, love the way all of our players just stop and look at the floor and no one even falls to his knees. That fucking mug cost them the opportunity of a lifetime and he's going to be rewarded by remaining the first choice keeper for next season. Fucking disgrace. This club kills me. To an extent, I sort of agree, but I wouldn't word it quite that way. I'd probably be a little bit more diplomatic in how I go about wording it, but yeah, for me it was one mistake too far. Again, just a personal choice. Matt says there's a rumour going around that Liverpool sacked physio Ruben's Pon. He followed Salah to Russia for his shoulder recovery. Thoughts? Interesting. As you stated, as of yet it's just a rumour. And I know Liverpool did send staff to Russia with Mo Salah, but your knowledge is clearly much better than me on this one because you knew exactly who it was. I wouldn't bother me. He's a physio, and there's plenty of them around. And again, I trust Klopp's judgment on that one. Joseph says, I see Ruben Neves signed a new 5-year deal. Good player. Remember his worldie last season. I really rate Ruben Neves as a footballer. Even right through from his early days at Porto, he's been touted as being one of the next big things in Portuguese football. A lot of eyebrows were raised, obviously, when he joined Wolves last season. But look, we know why. We know the links that are there to agents and stuff with that football club. But Wolves are a club that are on the up and up. So good to see him committing. Always good to have the good players in European football playing in the Premier League. Lubac says, I'm beginning to think we'll only get Shaqiri and just offload the dead wood to balance the books. Cop Idol says, Ferno, it's wasted energy, mate. Klopp is the best thing that's ever happened to us in 20 years. I've no idea how to pronounce this one, buddy, so I'm going to go Enhaloko. He said, just got in, recap. We've had a chat tonight so far, buddy, about the goalkeeper situation. We've had a chat about the ITK'S, and again, I assumed everybody knew what ITK'S was, so excuse me. The people that are in the know are claimed to have transfer information, being wrong that Shaqiri was going to be announced today. We've had a little chat about the ownership of the football club, and what else have we had a chat about? Not much Fekir stuff actually tonight, mate, so I think I've pretty much recapped on everything we've talked about so far, but apologies if I've missed anything. Welcome to the chat though, great to see it. Give us a thumbs up, by the way, and the rest of you guys. I know you guys do it for us most nights, but don't forget to give us a thumbs up. If you're watching the stream, you're enjoying it, you're wondering who this bald idiot is, just subscribe to the channel. We hope you keep enjoying it. If anybody doesn't have a clue what this whole Diet Chav stuff is in the bottom of the screen, I apologise. It's not misspelled Diet Coke, I promise you. It's just a bit of a laugh and something we kind of created a couple of streams ago in the chat with the guys here. I drink a lot of this stuff. I drink an awful lot of Diet Coke, so we're trying to have a little laugh and create a Diet Chav because I clearly look like a chav, so hence the Diet Chav. That's where that comes from. The Junior says, I think we'll get Shaqiri and Fekir and a cheapish keeper like Matt Ryan. What about the kid at Middlesbrough? Traore, is it? From Thomas Boland. Very raw. Is that Armand Traore? I can struggle to remember everyone's names. He has immense talent, but Adama. He has immense talent, but it's about honing his talents and getting the best out of him. I think was he a Chelsea player at one point? Was he owned by Chelsea at one point? I can't remember. He's a good player, I'm not going to say otherwise, but I haven't seen enough of him being consistent enough to think that he'd be good enough for Liverpool Football Club. Again, just my opinion. Let me know yours. Phil says, Klopp wants his business to be completed by the US trip late July. I'd say you're pretty spot on there, Phil. I mean, you're only looking at them having a couple of weeks then, really, aren't you, to get players in, get them fit. Yeah, I pretty much agree. DCB says, is your webcam broken? Mine? No, not at all. It's working fine for me. Yeah, if anybody else is having an issue with my webcam, let me know. But on my end, it's looking like it's working fine, mate. What else have we got? Mike Hines says, does anybody know we can? Does anybody think we can win the Premier League with Karius as a goalkeeper? His answer is no. So we're going into this new season with no ambition of winning the Premier League. That's just bullshit from Klopp. I understand the anger, mate. At this stage, it's all just guesswork from all of us, though. Yes, the Echo have ran with the story that Klopp may be starting the season with Karius as number one. You know my opinions on this. I'm with you. I think we need to buy a new goalkeeper. But until we really know what's happening with the goalkeeper situation, until the club come out and Klopp comes out and backs Karius and says, I am starting with Karius as my number one, he's got my full backing, I think we just have to wait and see what happens. Imran says LFC under Klopp, Champions League, UEFA and League Cup finals, 2 Champions League slots, Robertson, Virgil, Matip, Trent, Keita, Fabinho, Ox, Salah, Mane, works class players. That's the sign of a brilliant manager. Amen, amen, mate. I agree 100%. I mean, just reading through the list of signings there, it's an impressive list. A little bit of chat as well about Traore. A lot of people comparing him to a road runner, saying he's got no end product. Matt says, I take any keeper. Arsenal just gambled on Leno. Man City replaced the keeper in a year. We have Mignolet and Karius. Again, buddy, I'm with you. I'm fully behind bringing in a new goalkeeper. What else we got? The Junior says Ederson was found by City and not everyone knew about him. Surely there's a gem of a keeper out there. I mean, yeah, it was impressive that Pep Guardiola looked at him at Benfica and just thought, yes, he's the exact style of goalkeeper that I'm looking for. He's really good with his feet. He'll improve our distribution. He'll get us moving, because it's no secret that Guardiola likes to think of the goalkeeper as just an 11th outfield player pretty much. So yeah, it was a bit of a shock when they went and got him, and it wasn't a goalkeeper that many clubs seem to be sniffing around, so it was a very clever bit of business. Cop Idol says, Junior Inferno, I'm not disagreeing with you. I want a new keeper, but Klopp looks like he's sticking with the fun boy. The fun boy. Joseph says, Bobby and Dybala could mix it up and switch. I'd be fucking brilliant. It would just, excuse my language. I don't know if it pisses you guys off or not that I use language from time to time, but it would be amazing. I'd be so happy to bring Dybala. I mean, I'd be that happy that I'd consider getting him on the back of his shirt. And I don't really do that very often. Lubak says, surely Dybala will go to PSG or Barcelona, as it would not cost 140 million. I really question I'd question any player that goes to PSG. I just don't understand why, unless it's all about the money. And look, people have the right to be all about money if they want to be. They have a short career, but I'd love him. I would so love Paulo Dybala at Liverpool. I'm with you in that I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd love him. Johnny says, looking forward to the footy tomorrow, lads. Yeah, it's been weird. It's been a weird couple of days, hasn't it, having no football. We've been spoiled over the last month with a shitload of football, waking up to 2-3 games a day. We're getting to the crunch end now, though, so nothing but good games from here on in. And tomorrow looks like a pretty intriguing day. France against Uruguay and Brazil against Belgium. 2 very, very interesting games. I'm going for France and Brazil to go through. No shocks there. I think I've picked the 2 favourites for both games, but I think France, I think they'll both be done in normal time actually as well. The Junior says, I'll support Karius because he plays for Liverpool, but that doesn't change the fact I don't agree with him being our number 1. And that's exactly where I am. If he starts the season, of course he'll have my backing, but I don't agree with him being our number 1. So yeah, very well put, Junior, mate, and that's exactly where I am as well. Squism says, if Mo costs 37 million and Alisson costs 60 to 70 million, why not just think of it as 60 and 70 million for Salah and 37 million for Alisson, since it's all going to Roma? I don't know, mate. I don't know. It's a good way of putting it, but I don't think our club's accountants would see it that way. Joseph Reardon says, but there's enough money there from Phil, Champions League run and TV deal. Absolutely. I mean, I don't think any of us are on here thinking that there isn't money around for us to spend. I think that's probably what's annoying so many of us. As a human being, I'm somebody that money burns a fucking hole in my pocket. As soon as I get money, it's gone. I can't save money. I can't keep money. I just spend it like there's no tomorrow. So it seems absolute madness to me that there's money around and it's not being spent. Matt says, I hope the fans go easy on it when we conceded against Chester later. Oh, stop, will you? Jesus, can you imagine? The Junior says, Dybala strikes me as a Barcelona player. They wouldn't. I don't think they have the money to buy him at this moment in time unless they moved on Dembele. With the wages they're paying Messi, Suarez, obviously the money they've signed Coutinho for, and Coutinho isn't on ridiculous wages. I think he may have even taken a wage cut to join Barcelona, and Dembele's on a decent wage, I imagine, as well. They've moved on Iniesta, so that wage is off their books. But I think they'd struggle to be able to afford Dybala. From my limited knowledge of obviously Barcelona's financial situation. Thomas Boland says, can you imagine the confusion in the opposition defence with Bobby Dybala, Saleh, Mane running at them? It would be absolute carnage. It would be so much fun to just sit back and watch that. Oh, you're going to defend low against us, eh? You're going to just sit back. Okay, well, here you go. Have a little bit of that. Bang. Joseph says it's a scary thought. It really is. It's scary but brilliant thought. Can you imagine it happening? Oh, it'd be so good. I know at times we don't deal in facts on here. We're on here talking about players who may never sign for Liverpool Football Club. But you know what? It's all part of the fun, isn't it? It's all part of the joy of being a fan. Few questions I want to get through. I'm trying to scroll back up through the chat. I've seen a few that have caught my eye, so we'll be getting back. Lubak says, Craig, would you take Dybala or Isco? Dybala, probably. For our system, I think he might bring a little bit more flair. Two very good players, and a damn hard question because they're both excellent footballers, but I'd probably just about go towards Dybala. Aaron says Dybala won't happen, have Fekir, and I'm with you. I don't honestly see us getting Dybala to sign. Ben says 7 off 100 viewers. Brilliant. 93 people watching the stream. Excellent. I hope you're all enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying the chat with the guys as well. They're brilliant every night. I really enjoy interacting with them. If you haven't given us a thumbs up, if you could take a moment to do so, it'd be much appreciated. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. As I was saying to the guys, we've a lot of content coming up over the coming months on the Anfield Agenda channel. We'll have watch-alongs during games. All our podcasts will be up. And I forgot to say, the Transfer Talk podcast that I mentioned last night is going live as soon as this stream ends. So when I'm finished on here, we will be releasing that onto the Anfield Agenda YouTube channel. Of course, it is just a podcast, no video. But if you want to have a little listen, it was myself and Dave talking about Liverpool's transfer business so far and what we're expecting to happen. Joseph says, stop it now, Junior. You're getting me all excited here. I hope to God that's about football. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt on that one, buddy. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Steve is in and he says, Lovren can be forgiven, so can Karius. Worked out for him, and it really did. There's no denying that, Steve. Dejan Lovren has certainly turned his career around since that monumental fuck up against Spurs. I mean, one of the worst games I've seen a Liverpool player have, but he most certainly has turned it around. He has been magnificent since. He's had a brilliant World Cup with Croatia, and as I said before, he was one of our better players, I think, in the Champions League final as well. Lubak says, I think keeping Karius would be negative in the dressing room. Ferno says, no, Lovren always performed in finals. Karius or any of our keepers in the last decades have cost us finals. Cameron says, anything on Buvac? Not really, mate, but it was interesting to see an article on the Liverpool site, I think it was yesterday, with Klopp talking about how great it is to have Pep Lijnders back at the club. So I'm waiting on an announcement to see if Lijnders is going to be his number 2. But yeah, it's all systems quiet on Buvac so far. Matt says, I think Liverpool will hold off upgrading the stadium until VAR and safe standing is sorted. We need to upgrade Melwood. Well, I'd imagine if they were to do some safe standing inside Anfield, you'd imagine it would be in the Kop. So they're looking to do the Annie Road end, so that wouldn't really affect that to an extent. VAR, I'm not sure how much. Will anything have to be done at the stadiums to help with VAR? Anything major anyway, I'm not sure. I'd love to see safe standing, so I'm completely with you on that one. The Junior says Lovren was brilliant last season except at Wembley against Spurs. Louis says that game against Spurs he was shocking. He was. I was actually on my holidays in Orlando last year watching that game. I think all my family were out at the parks, but I stayed behind to watch the Liverpool game, and Jesus, I wish I didn't, because we were absolutely awful. Damo says, Craig, in an ideal world, which one of Pulisic, Fekir or Dybala would you take? Really hard choice, to be fair. Pulisic. Pulisic, I can't say anything else because I've been banging the Pulisic drum all along. So for me, from a marketing, a footballing, everything, the whole package, I take Pulisic. Lubak says, Craig, would you take Dybala or Icardi? I have said before how much I like Mario Icardi and how good a footballer he is. But again, I'd take Dybala. I just think having a player like Dybala at the football club along with Mo Salah, Mane, Bobby Firmino, Naby Keita, Virgil van Dijk, it just increases the calibre of superstars you have, and it makes the club more of a club that players want to play for, more of a club that people want to come and sponsor, more of a club that people want to come and play for Kloppo. So yeah, definitely I take Dybala, I think, just about. But again, I love Mauro Icardi, so I wouldn't be pissed off if we were to end up with him and not Dybala. The Junior says he thinks Pep will be given the assistant role. Pep and Linders, I mean. Doesn't look like Buvac will come back. Steve says the Klopp trusts Karius, so should we all. Joseph reckons Wolves could be the surprise team this year. John says, sadly our Deadwood looks like they're going out on loan and not being sold. Bogdan and Markovic are going out on loan, no interest in Sturridge. Well, Bogdan and Markovic are going out on loan, but they're both going into the last years of their contract, so it was always going to be very difficult to get them out. Sturridge the same. I mean, he's on, I think, somewhere around 120 to 150 grand a week. So it's going to be very hard to find a club that are going to be willing to take him on those wages. So the best we probably could have hoped for is either cancelling his contract and allowing him to sign for somebody for free, or perhaps putting him out on loan again and paying a portion of his wages. Johnny says, if Shaqiri's the only signing we make, then I'm officially FSG out. The Junior says, Pulisic or Leon Bailey. Pulisic all day long for me. Although I see the first couple of answers are probably more for Leon Bailey. I'm just a big fan of Christian Pulisic. Joseph says, you're on fire tonight, the Junior. He is. He's top man. That's why he got... I think he was one of the first people. We made a mod, Junior, if I remember correctly. He's in every night. He's really active on the chat, and he comes in with some great comments, as do most of you guys, to be fair. So I'm not really putting anybody else down, so don't get me wrong. Jason Mackey says, what about backup for Firmino? Or is that Mackey or Mackle? Excuse me. It's very important that we bring somebody in. It's not just for me backup for Firmino, because I think we may see Salah playing through the centre a little bit more this year. It's backup for the front three, and look, we've spoke about Gerrard and Shaqiri possibly being backup, but we need somebody in the ilk of a Fekir, a Dybala, somebody that can be 4 of 3, and we can play any 3 in that 4 at any stage. It's a long ass season, so I think we do need that player. Lubac says, I think Icardi will give us a nasty edge in big games like Suarez did. He is a horrible little fucker, to be fair. He is a nasty bastard. Yeah, I'd love him. I would love him. Him and Naby Keita as well. They'd bust a few heads without a shadow of a doubt. Phil says, my Twitter timeline is going mad with Dybala. Obviously I can't get on there. I'm on talking to you guys. Maybe Connor's on the account at the minute having a look through Twitter, no doubt. But last night it was Shaqiri. We have to take these things with a pinch of salt, but I'd fucking love it. That would be a statement right there. If we went out and signed Dybala, that would be a statement. Ferno says, okay, I have to go. Night, guys. And good night, Ferno, mate. Thanks a million for joining us. Cop Idol says, Craig, if you want to do any away this season, give me a shout, mate. Our away bus is insane. Mate, I would love, myself and Connor were only talking, we would absolutely love to do an away. So I would wholeheartedly, 100% take you up on that offer. I would love to come on the bus with you guys. I'd love to experience an away game. I've never been able to get tickets for one. So look, if it's a serious offer, I can guarantee you, if there's 1 ticket or 2 tickets, we will definitely take you up on that. Myself and Connor were only speaking about it the other day, so keep in touch, mate. If the offer's there, it will be much appreciated. Matt says, has anybody forgot about Gini Wijnaldum? Do you see him getting dropped straight away? No, absolutely not. I see Gini Wijnaldum being a very important part of our midfield this season. It's a long season. He can play across a lot of positions. I really like Gini Wijnaldum. I know there's the whole quip about him not really scoring away from home. Obviously he scored against Roma, but I like Gini Wijnaldum. I definitely hope he stays around. And if nothing else, every time he gives an Instagram post, it looks like he's dropping a new album. I mean, he just looks shit cool. Lots of people saying goodnight to Ferno. Again, it's great to see you guys being so interactive with each other and getting to know each other so well. I know you guys may know each other from other streams and that as well, but it's brilliant. I'm delighted to see you all getting on so well in here and coming back each and every night talking about the Reds. It's brilliant. It makes my week. Steve says, I have a bad feeling Madrid would go for Mane once Ronaldo was gone. It's looking like, I mean, if you've seen the links over the last few days, and I'm sure you have, it's looking like they're in for somebody from PSG, whether it's Neymar or whether it's Mbappe. I've been saying all summer that I thought it was Neymar they were in for, but Mbappe would make a lot of sense. But 240 or 250 million euro, that's fucking mental. That's absolutely crazy. I mean, he's a brilliant player, but the way football players' fees have gone from here to here is mental. But look, Kylian Mbappe would grace any team in the world. Again, I think I answered that one. Joseph says he'd get it as well, and I think he's talking about Dybala on the back of the shirt, if I remember correctly. Neil says, at this rate, John Achterberg will be our goalkeeper, number one. Joseph Higgins says, too much negativity on here. The club's at its best place this century, and y'all talk about is a keeper who was concussed for a match at FSG being shit and all the problems surrounding the club. I don't know what stream you're watching, Joseph, but there is absolutely no constant talk in here about FSG being shit. There is talk about us wanting a new goalkeeper. I'm not going to deny that, but I don't know what stream you're watching, mate, because you're talking absolute nonsense. The Junior says, I hope we... I know we won't either, but I hope we get Alisson or Oblak. Joseph says, speak positively, there's so much to be positive about. And there is, you're absolutely right. And there's been so much positive talk in here, Joseph. I mean, the guys in here are really positive people. Tonight maybe it's just a little chat about FSG and a few people. And I brought that chat up, to be fair. But I think, mate, you might be... I think you're wrong. There's a lot of positivity in this chat. Skipperdog says, what if Karius fucks up on Saturday? The fans will go crazy. I'm hoping he's upgraded before the start of the season. All I'll say is, and I've made no secret of the fact, I want us to get a new goalkeeper. But I think I've also said time and time again, if Karius starts the season as our number one, I will back him. I will back Klopp. I will hope that he turns it round and he gets absolute redemption like Dejan Lovren has. But obviously I have my own concerns. But I will support any player that isn't Simon Mignolet playing for Liverpool. John Rainey says, absolutely, there are lots of positive Josephs, but it would be foolish to ignore the areas that we need to strengthen. And this is an area that we've needed to strengthen for 5 years, if not longer. Steve says, maybe Leon and Liverpool haven't announced it as it might affect Fekir's World Cup, so we'll do it when it's over. Lalu says, I feel you, Joseph Higgins. So Lalu seems to think it's a little bit negative as well. Again, I don't think so, but you are all absolutely 100% entitled to your own views. I really don't see this as a negative chat, though. I don't see you as negative people, is what I'm trying to say. I think you guys would be really positive people. Joseph says, we're moving to Kirby, aren't we? So no need for upgrading Melwood. Chill out, Johnny lad. Klopp knows what we're doing. And just touching on what you're saying there, Joseph, about Kirby, that's a really, really great thing for the club to be doing, to be bringing the seniors and the younger kids together in the same facility. Great move. It's just another positive thing, as you said, that Fenway Sports Group have done. I think Jurgen Klopp told them it's something that he wanted, and they're going to do it. Like 50 million quid in a new training facility. Brilliant. Skipperdog says, I was at the Spurs game. I always wanted to go to Wembley for Liverpool fans. 2 Spurs mates in the Spurs end. Wembley is somewhere I've always wanted to see as well and go to a game. I mean, it's one of the meccas of world football. You have to want to go to a game at Wembley. I was so close a few years ago. I think it was the year Stevie left, if I remember correctly. Was that the year we lost Aston Villa in the semi-final? So basically I was in a supporters club at that time, and we were kind of rotating the tickets around for things, and I had an option to either go to the semi-final against Villa at Wembley or pass on those tickets and be guaranteed tickets to the final. So obviously I looked at Liverpool playing Aston Villa and thought to myself, yeah, we're beating Villa, we're going to get this, we're going to get past Villa, so I'll hang off and I'll go to the final. A final at Wembley would be absolutely amazing. I was so convinced we were getting there, and then obviously we lost to Villa and I was absolutely distraught, because it was one of my only chances to go to Wembley. Louis says, surprisingly, there hasn't been any Fekir rumours over the last few days since they said once all parties agree. It's good. It's actually good that it's gone quiet, because it can be a bit tedious, can't it? Just coming on talking about the same shit over and over and over again. I suppose at the end of the day, it's either going to happen or it isn't. Johnny says, right now I would take Mbappe over either Ronaldo or Messi. What a superstar he is, the future king of football after Salah. To me, you're right. To me, obviously I love Mo, but Mbappe is going to be, to me, the next megastar, more than Neymar in my eyes, because of the way he plays the game, because of the way he... I think he's more exciting than Neymar. He has so much potential. I mean, what a player. Cop Idol says, Swansea game, my phone got it. No idea what that means, buddy. The Junior says, Mo Salah's goal against Spurs deserved to win any game. Pity Spurs aren't such cheats and dive their way to a penalty. I was furious that the ref gave those 2 penalties, by the way, in that game. Fucking absolute prat. I think I did a Periscope afterwards and I was ranting and raving about the referee. I think it's probably the most negative 5 minutes of my life I've ever had. I was not a happy camper. Ant says, if we signed Dybala we would smash teams off the park. We fucking would. And that goal, as the Junior said, that goal Mo Salah scored against Spurs, that deserved to win any game. That was absolute beauty. How he got that ball in, I'll never know. It was top notch. Ant says, share this fantastic content. Up the Reds, Ant. Absolutely agree with you, buddy, and thank you for trying to get people to like and share the content. Much appreciated, buddy. Ben says, Craig, Pulisic or Salah? Mo. You gotta have Mo. I mean, I'm not getting rid of Mo for anybody. I love Mo. I love everything about Mo. I love his hair. I love his smile. I love his attitude. I love the way he plays the game. I love Mo. Mo. More Mo. A lot of people saying, I hope we get Dybala. Cop Idol thinks Fekir won't happen. Ben says, too many Liverpool fans worrying. If the World Cup wasn't this year, we would have made some signings by now. I don't know why the fan base is worrying so much. Chelsea signed no one, same with Spurs. Again, fair points, Ben. Can't disagree with you, mate. The World Cup has altered the way the transfer window has gone, no doubt about it. As I've said all along, I think the 3 weeks between the end of the World Cup and the start of the season is going to be absolute bedlam for clubs all over the world. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And I really feel sorry for... Is it right to say the lesser clubs? I'm talking about the Evertons, the Southamptons, the Burnleys. Clubs that may have to wait. They have the right in a player, but may have to wait to see if any of the bigger clubs go in for that player first. So they may wait and see if they get a clear run at the player. I feel really sorry for those type of teams because the big boys are obviously going to be in there trying to get their deals done first, and it's going to be madness. It's going to be one hell of an end to this transfer window. Something mad will kick everything off, and maybe a goalkeeper trigger, maybe it'll be Courtois going or something, but there's something mad yet to come in this window, I think. Lubac says, we've one nut job in Keita, so if we get Upamecano in defence and Icardi up front, we'll have 3. Get that grip back to batter teams. I love a horrible bastard in midfield, lads. I'm absolutely delighted we've got Keita in there. I love a nasty bastard. I used to look at the guy that played for Cardiff, the Chilean guy, what was his name? No doubt it'll be in the chat now in 2 seconds. Played for Cardiff and he's gone on to play for Inter Milan. Gary Medel. I used to love watching Gary Medel. He was a horrible little bastard. I liked Vidal as well, just because he looked like a nut job. Ben says, Genie Wijnaldum holds accounts with my work. Got to speak to him the other day on the phone. Haven't been so happy. That's awesome. Obviously, I'm not going to inquire as to where you work, mate. Completely your own business. But that's awesome. I'm delighted for you. And the story about him buying the kid those pair of Adidas boots one day in Liverpool 1 was a beautiful story as well. It just goes to show you football players, they have hearts, they are nice people underneath it all. Well, the majority of them. And stuff like this is always brilliant to hear. Simple thing like that for you. It's just an everyday thing for him. Just ringing up a company to talk about an account he has with them for whatever reason. But the person at the other end, if he's a Liverpool fan like you, Ben, that is a once in a lifetime experience for you. And absolutely amazing. Delighted for you, mate. Joseph said, I think LFC need to make a big statement. Everything is on the up. I'll go for that away game too if I'm invited. Paul says, do you remember Craig, a goalkeeper called Massimo Taibi? I most certainly do. Oh, he was one hell of a fuck up. He really was. Who played for the Manx. He played 4 games and Fergie got rid because he wasn't good enough. Yeah, one of the worst signings he ever made, without a shadow of a doubt. He's right up there with Bebe. Bebe was another absolute fiasco. Mike says, hashtag Diabala Friday. Cop Idol says, 100% serious offer, DM at Twitter at Atheist Primate. Oh, I remember that account. It's weird on here. Sometimes I'm thinking, do I know you guys from Twitter? Have you got different Twitter handles? If there's anyone on here that I do, or you knew me on Twitter as Cop Jaffer, which was my Twitter account before I left Twitter and just went with the Anfield Agenda account. Yeah, so if any of you guys are people that I interacted with all the time but use different handles, do let me know. Do remind me, because if I've forgotten, I apologise. But yeah, I will most certainly, mate. Thank you so much for that offer. The Junior says Suarez still loves Liverpool. He looks like he's liked a few pies for me as well since he joined Barcelona. He doesn't look the same level of fitness that he was at Liverpool. Diabala will be such a statement of intent, says the Junior. Thomas Boland says the Anfield Rap and Mo do a quality show as well. I think the Anfield Rap, look, obviously you know I love the Anfield Rap, really good content providers. I think you're talking about Mo Stewart, who's a really good contributor on the Anfield Rap. So yeah, nothing but love for the Anfield Rap here, buddy. Where was that? I seen something there. I'm panicking because this window will close in just a few weeks, says Lubac. As I said though, prepare for the madness, buddy. It's going to be a very interesting end to the window. Cop Idol says Anfield Agenda and the Anfield Rap are a must watch. Thank you. It's even to be mentioned in the same sentence as those guys who are, you know, people that I obviously look up to, respect, listen to their content, enjoy their content. They're almost the godfathers of Liverpool podcasts as well, aren't they? So yeah, love the Anfield Rap. Great guys. Not that I know them personally or anything, but I mean, watching them, enjoying their stuff. Great to be mentioned in the same sentence with them. So thank you. Shahan says, I'm miles behind on the video, up to FSG. I'm fans of them, to be honest. Great, and yeah, lovely to get your opinion. As I said, I'm kind of on the happy side of okay with them, if that makes sense. I'm probably 60-40 in favour, maybe a little bit more, maybe 65-35. Joseph says Klopp likes to get his players in quick. He does. He likes to get a full pre-season with them where possible, and I think, was it Cop Idol or Phil? I think it might have been Phil actually said earlier on that ideally Kloppo said he wants everybody in by the time they head off the American leg of the pre-season tour. The Junior says he's dreaming about Diabala. You're not the only one, mate. I'm almost daydreaming here on this stream, thinking about Diabala tearing in the Liverpool shirt. Now, what am I giving him? Am I giving him number 10? I had Fekir in my head as number 10, but if Diabala comes in, he's most certainly welcome to number 10. Or perhaps is Diabala a 7? What do you think? Do you ask Jimmy Milner to give up the 7 and give it to Diabala? Let me know what shirt number. A bit of crack, I know it might not happen, but a bit of crack, let me know what you think. What number would you give Paulo Dybala if he came to Liverpool Football Club? Connor wants to know what's your score predictions for the quarter-finals. Quickly, I'll give you mine, buddy. I'm going 3-1 France. 3-2 Brazil. 2-0 England. And who's the other one? Croatia. I'll go 2-0 as well. But again, let me know yours, Connor. And Connor, while I know you're definitely on the stream, buddy, and watching, what's the chat being like on Twitter? Lots of guys saying that lots of Dybala stuff on there. I haven't been on there. I'm sure you probably have tonight. So what's the chat being like on there? Is there anything serious? Lubac says the Anfield Rap is class. It is. And lots of love, as I said, for the Anfield Rap from this channel. Daz is class as well. I should say, how dare I not say, if people are looking for extra Liverpool content and they're looking for Liverpool channels to watch, On the Bench LFC, our good friend Daz, one of my favourite channels on YouTube, one of my favourite people around LFC, I'm sure a lot of you guys, in fact I know a lot of you guys enjoy and watch Daz's channel, so get over there, give him a thumbs up for his streams, give him a subscription if you haven't done so. Obviously come back here and watch the Anfield Agenda stuff, but On The Bench, LFC and Daz, absolutely great channel, top lad, lots of love for him as well over here. The White Darky says, the White Darky, what a name, says, am I the only one who watched Denmark v Croatia and thought either of them keepers would be such a good upgrade on what we have? One Karius to stay because I still think there's a good goalkeeper in there. No, I think a lot of people, mate, were certainly shouting for Kasper Schmeichel. I'm not. Is it Handanovic? No, it's not Handanovic. He's not. He's the Serbian keeper. Who's the Croatian keeper again? Subasic. I think a lot of people would have been happy with either, to be fair. So I did see a few people there. Joseph said Redman TV is up there as well. Not quite though. Again, I think I've said before, because I'm not somebody who watches lots of stuff on YouTube and I'm more podcast based, I've never really watched much of the Redman TV stuff, but I know lots of people are fans of them, so again I just can't give a fair and balanced view on the Redman TV stuff because I haven't seen much of it. Connor says mainly the Ibala chat all coming from some unreliable Italian paper apparently. There's been a few of them around, to be fair, Connor, hasn't there? A few unreliable foreign journalists or foreign newspapers coming up with some absolute shite. You need to wait till you see some stuff from the English journals. I'd love to see Melissa Rady come out and say, oh yeah, Liverpool, they generally are interested in Patrick Ibala. Now that would cause some shit. Louis says, I saw Moses Simon's middle name is Daddy on Instagram. We've been saying that for days, buddy. We've been having lots of crack about Moses Daddy Simon on here. Yeah, what a middle name though. What a middle name. Connor says, predictions are very close to mine. France 1-1 to win on penalties. Brazil 3-2. Croatia 2-0 and England 1-0. The Lubac says, Daz is a god, but I bet he's in his holiday kitchen right now. Yeah, I think he is away on a holiday. A well-deserved holiday with the family, I think. So, yeah, Daz has his own little lovely setup there in his kitchen as well. So, yeah, lots of love for Daz on here. Joseph says, yeah, Daz is a good lad. Now I know why people in Daz's live stream call him that. Stuck a euro on my scores at 8,628 to 1. The Milky Bars are on you, Connor, mate, if that one comes in. No, sorry, the Diet Chavs are on you if that one comes in. Jason Mackle says Redman TV is quality. Ben, he's on holiday junior, I think. Daz is. He's away with the family for a well-deserved break. Paul Turner says, not much content, Thomas. He doesn't do anything like the Anfield Agenda or the other one. He just gives his views. I'm not sure who you're talking about there, buddy. It could be Daz. I'm not sure. Thomas Boland says, all TV about Liverpool has to be Oscar worthy. I'm the same. I can't get enough Liverpool content. I mean, between podcasts, videos, the stuff we do on here as well, I absolutely love Liverpool content. I'd listen to it till it comes out of my ears. Joseph Higgins says, where in Ireland are you from, Craig? Originally born and bred in South Dublin, now living in Wexford. Gorey, to be precise. Joseph says, the Redman TV are coming to Dublin the night before the Napoli match. They're doing something in a bar. I can't think of the name of it. Yeah, I think the Anfield Rap are coming as well. I think the Anfield Rap said they're doing something in... I can't think of it's in the city centre and I cannot think for the life of me of the name. A venue that they've come to, the Button Factory, I think that's where the Anfield Rap said they were doing their show. The guys usually do that, both of them, to be fair. Before the games in Dublin, they usually do put on a live show. And you know what, I'm hoping in the very near future that we're at that level and we're putting on live shows and stuff like that, because it's a dream for me. I'd love to be sitting on stage chatting to a crowd about Liverpool, having a bit of crack and having a bit of fun. Yeah, it'd be top notch. Aaron Lennon says the Ibala won't happen. It will be like signing Coutinho again. Fekir number 10. Again, a lot of love for the Anfield Rap, which is great to see. Steve says Murray's Bar, sorry. Joseph says Shout Barry might pop down, but they want €15. The White Darky says, no way, I'm in Gorey. Or no way with the Gorey, I'm in Arklow, so woohoo, 5 minutes away. That is nuts. That's crazy that we're on here having a chat and you're only like 5 minutes up the road, as you said. That's nuts. I was actually in Arklow today, to be fair. Louis says, announce daddy. That is nuts. Do you know what, mate? There's probably going to be a time where we're looking for more local lads to film some video content and stuff with. So I'm not sure what age you are or anything like that. But yeah, it is really interesting that they're only up on Arklow. It's good to know. Jason Mackle says he's only up the road as well in Wicklow. Excellent. I mean, as I said, we probably will be looking for some local content providers, people to film some videos and stuff with us going forward. Myself and Connor want to do more live stuff. Maybe a little bit of... Connor's been talking about trying to make some small documentaries and stuff, but we definitely want to do more live stuff with Irish people, with Irish Reds. So yeah, it's great to know that there's more people here local to Connor and I, because we're both in Wexford, although at different ends of the county. Oh my god, I think I've actually caught up with the chat. I'm so proud of myself. It's taken so long. The junior says, I'll film. I live an hour away though. I gather if you're an hour away, you're probably up towards Dublin. Although that's a complete fucking guess, isn't it? We used to, when we did film stuff on a previous podcast we were on, I used to drive to Finglas every week to film. So I mean, I'm not adverse to driving if needs be. Skipper Dog says Skerries is a bit far away. That really is. That's right over there on the other side of the city. But so was Finglas, to be fair. I mean, Finglas was a good old spin as well. That's that kind of Diet Chav empty. Onto the bottle of Diet Chav. I'm not joking, by the way. When I said to you guys I drink gallons of this shit downstairs, if you were to go into my kitchen now, you would see, after topping up, there's over 100 cans of Diet. I'm gonna keep saying Diet Chav, but you know what I mean, in there, and about 24 bottles of Diet Coke. Diet Chav. Joseph says Cork's a bit far as well. It's just a smidgen, buddy. It is just a smidgen too far, but not too far that we couldn't meet up someday. Never say never, buddy. Joseph Reardon says, I'm in Rathfarnham. Oh, that's it. I went to school in Slorgan, buddy, so just down the road from Rathfarnham, so not too far away at all. Well, I say down the road, I mean a little bit further than just down the road, but you know where I'm coming from. Up to Dundrum, we're not too far away. Johnny O'Donnell says, can't be good for you. I gather you're talking about the Diet Chav. I'm sure it's doing immense damage to my insides, buddy, but I don't drink, I don't smoke. It's my only real vice, so I have to allow myself something. Joseph says, any chance you'll be watching Cork City versus Legia Warsaw in the Champions League next week? If it's on TV, 100% I'll be watching it, buddy. I watch any football that I can get my hands on. Cork City play some lovely stuff. I mean, they really do. I know Dundalk have been probably the more successful team over the last couple of years, but I really like the style of football that Dundalk or that Cork City play. Yeah, Turner's Cross will be rocking without a shadow of a doubt. Mike says, Jesus, Corona nicknamed Tecado is a fantastic player that needs a good manager like Klopp to get the best out of him. Would be a great option as backup winger. Jesus Corona nicknamed Tecado. See, I read that all wrong. I was thinking Jesus Corona because I was thinking about the beer. Squism said, chuffed that I was on a live stream when Diet Chav was born. We're going to make it something. I swear to God we're going to make Diet Chav something someday. Don't know what, but you gotta love a bit of Diet Chav. Stephen Dwyer says, hiya Craig, I'm from Tramore in Waterford, an absolutely beautiful town, mate. I'd say it's hopping down there at this time of the year. Tramore is a very busy spot, very popular when the sun's out, so I hope you're enjoying it down there. And again, not too far away that we cannot all meet up someday and do some stuff together. Why not? There seems to be an awful lot of Irish Reds on here. Tramore isn't too far away. Even Cork is never say never. So yeah, lots of you guys there. Seems to be, hopefully we can do this. Hopefully we can do something. Maybe I'll meet up for games, film some live stuff. There's lots we can do, guys. If you're up for it, let us know. We're all about meeting up and interacting with Reds all over the world. And if we're in Ireland, brilliant. Of course, that's where I live. When I go over to America on holidays, I try and meet up with people over there. I'm hoping to get down to Tampa this year and talk to Casey from the LFC in Tampa Bay. Ben says, show us your stash of coke. As I said, there's work going on in my house downstairs at the minute, so you really don't want to see. You don't want me to bring you downstairs in my house. It's upside down at the minute. Lubac says, has a stash of Coke. Not joking, it really isn't. The fridge, I'd say there's probably more Diet Coke in my fridge than there is food at this moment in time. Matthias Johansson says, greetings from Denmark. Greetings, Matthias. Great to have you on, mate. And thank you for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the stream, and thanks for getting into the conversation. Always great to know where our listeners and viewers are from. So, again, thank you very much. The Junior says, I'm visiting Gorey next weekend. Yes, it's a nice old town. It's massively improved, actually, down here, to be fair. I'm here about 7 years, and the city or the town has built up a lot over that 7 years. Lubac said he's from Wales, but he's in Scotland at the moment. Skipper Dog says, how many Irish are in the chat? I'd say quite a lot by the looks of things. Cop Idol says, where's everybody from? He's a Scouser. And then Connor says, everybody comment where they're from. Joseph Higgins says, green heart if you're from Ireland. Good shout, Joseph. That's a really good idea. So lash the green hearts out if you're from Ireland. Thomas Boland says he's an Irishman in New York. You're not representing over there in New York, buddy. Fair play. I hope you're enjoying your time in New York as well. I mean, I've made no secret of the fact that myself and my family plan on emigrating to America in the next couple of years. It's either going to be Florida or Texas. So we wait and see. Mike says, Alphon Areola, the PSG goalkeeper, would be a good shout for us. He's going to look to leave from the imminent arrivement of Buffon. I don't like either of the keepers, to be honest, at PSG. I don't like him or Trapp. He's probably the better of the two, though, to be fair. Joseph said, anytime you go to Anfield, all you hear is Irish accents. There's a lot of Scandinavians as well. I always find a lot of Norwegians and that is around at Anfield as well. And die-hard fans. Absolutely great lads. DZB said he's from Glasgow. I actually remember that one, amazingly. DZB, mate. I remember you saying that to me before. Louis says he's from just outside of London. I think you may be near Tom then, Louis, mate. Tom is from that neck of the woods as well. Ant is from Liverpool. Paul Turner is from Costa Blanca, Spain. You lucky bastard. Well, look, the weather over here in Ireland is pretty damn nice at the minute, but generally you have the edge on us. Damo's from Belfast, one of my favourite cities in Ireland. As I said before on here, it's a city myself and my wife get to whenever we can get away. Absolutely adore Belfast. Best spot in Ireland to go to for a weekend. Cop Idol says Redmen TV sell too hard. I've said to you guys before, I'm almost embarrassed on here to talk about money and stuff like that at times. We do have a Patreon Patreon account, we've a Ko-fi account, we've a Redbubble account, but we don't push it. What's the point? You guys have asked us, do we have accounts before? You guys have said, some of you have said you'd like to contribute to the channel and stuff, but it's not what we're about. We'll never push stuff like that on you. Yes, we mess about Diet Chav and stuff and say we have some Diet Chav products, which we do, of course we do, but we're never going to be on here hounding anybody for money. We're never going to be on here looking for subscriptions. We've said all along, our channel, our content is free, and it always will be free. Lots of green hearts popping up in the chat as well. Sean Blackmore says, good evening, Craig, and to all the Reds, and good evening to you, sir. Nice to have you along with us. Jason, obviously, with a green heart. Louis says, I've heard before, I've heard of it, I think, Boreham Wood. Yeah, I do indeed know Boreham Wood. Joseph Higgins, obviously, with a green heart. Squism says, Craig, when the stream laughs at your stash of coke, they mean cocaine, mate. Honestly, that's not it, though. For me, not something I partake in. I'd be much more of a chilled out weed person than to be doing lines of coke, to be fair. Although obviously I don't encourage anybody to take illegal drugs in any way, shape or form. Wink wink. Johnny O'Donnell says, what do you think of Schmeichel? He's a very solid goalkeeper. Wouldn't be my choice to bring in now, but he's a very solid goalkeeper. Skipper Dog, obviously, with the Irish heart. Thomas Boland with the Irish green hearts. A double Irish green heart from Thomas Boland. Louis says, you've heard of EastEnders, right? Yeah. Cards on the table. I'm actually a big EastEnders fan. I know I sound like a bit of a bitch when I say that, but yeah, I do love me soaps. So I would be watching a lot of EastEnders. So embarrassment, but here's me spitting all over my screen and all at this point when I'm laughing. But yeah, I do like EastEnders. I seen something there from Joseph, and I'm after losing it in the chat. So he said, Craig, what are we going to do with you in Ireland? It's going to be doing this, or is Connor taking the baton? I'll be doing it constantly. If I move from Ireland, this will stay as it is. I mean, there will be internet where I am. The streams will continue. The podcast will continue. Anfield Agenda is absolutely going nowhere. This is only the start for us. If you guys have seen, I wish I could show you guys what we have mapped out and what we have planned and the work that is going on in the background to get ready for the season and stuff. We have big plans for Anfield Agenda. Obviously, some of it will depend on finances. We'll wait and see how things go with YouTube and adverts and stuff like that. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot, and I'm not going anywhere. This is my last run of this. I've started a few podcasts before. I was heartbroken the way to have to leave my last one. It was really tough for me to take that step to walk away from the last podcast. So this is my last roll of the dice in LFC content. If it doesn't work out, look, I can hold my head up high and I'll be stepping away, but I've no plans on Anfield Agenda going anywhere. And Connor is the same. Connor is brilliant. Connor helps so much, and it's myself and Connor that really run things on Anfield Agenda, so we're going nowhere. Damo says Duke's Hotel Belfast is a great base. It's 100% where I stay. Duke's at Queen's is where we stay, Damo, when we go to Belfast. We love that hotel. I love Queen's District. I love that it's where all the students hang out. Obviously, it's a beautiful college. Yeah, funny enough, that is exactly where we stay. I have to admit, we're kind of snobs. We stay in one of the 2 suites when we stay there, because it's not much more, to be fair, and it's not very often I get to bring my wife away for weekends, because with the kids and stuff we don't get much of a chance. But I love Duke's Hotel in Queens, absolutely love it. And I love Dean's Restaurant as well. There's a lovely Dean's at Queen's Restaurant, which I love as well. Really nice meat, really nice steak, and beautiful city. They also, Damo, have one of the best bar names I've ever heard in my life, and I'm sure you know about this. Filthy McNasty's. What a name for a bar. Liam Granby says, I'm a Scouser. You should come to Liverpool, mate. See a great city. Plus, we've got the greatest football club in the world. I'm in Liverpool 5-6 times a year. Liam, I love the city. I cannot say enough good things about Liverpool and its people. Everything about it. I love the way the city is so condensed and you can get around everywhere. Everything is accessible. The hardest thing to get to was probably Anfield, to be fair, but I love Liverpool. Absolutely love it. Aaron says, Craig, do you know the IRA / Conor McGregor? Absolutely no to the IRA. Yeah, absolutely no to that one. Conor McGregor, no. I don't know Conor McGregor, but I do know people who are very close to Conor McGregor. So if I needed to get something, or like a signing glove or something like that from Conor McGregor, I'm sure it could be arranged. But no, personally, I absolutely don't know Conor McGregor. I'd love to meet him though. I mean, he looks like an absolute lunatic, and I do love a lunatic. I know he's a massive red as well, so that endears him to me even more. Obviously, apart from the fact that he's an absolute savage in the octagon. I love Conor McGregor, what he's done for Ireland and the way he handled himself. I'm somebody that thinks Irish people are too nice at times, and Irish people are almost apologetic for success. So I love that Conor McGregor is out there and balls out and just says, deal with it, like, here I am. Love that about Conor McGregor. Ben says, I'm from an island called Jersey, 100,000 people. I live here in between England and France. Beautiful place as well, Ben. I visited there once. I was very young, so I don't really remember too much about it. But yeah, lovely place to live. Yeah, beautiful. Joseph says, Lucky Louie, are you from Anfield? I'm not even going to say what Connor's just said there in the chat. I can't repeat that online. I don't want the police knocking on my door. What else have we got? Sorry guys, just again trying to move through the chat. The Junior says McGregor versus Khabib. I think that's the fight. As I said, I'm very limited in my knowledge of UFC. I'm much more of a boxing fan. I'm actually pissed off. I would try to get tickets to go up to see Carl Frampton's fight in August, but the way things worked out with us getting the kids taken care of and stuff, it didn't work out. I wanted to go up to Windsor Park to see that fight. Unfortunately, I won't be able to, which has really annoyed me. I was there when Frampton won his world title when he fought Kiko Martinez, and I'd love to have gone up to see him fight in Windsor Park. But yeah, McGregor versus Khabib, getting back to the UFC, that's a fight that has to happen at some point. And I know a lot of people think Khabib is shit hot and that Connor's running from him. But I think John Kavanagh has been very clear before. He sees an easy way for McGregor to get past Khabib. Again, hands up. I'm not on here to tell you guys who's going to win that fight because of very limited knowledge of UFC. But it's certainly the fight that people want to see happen. Joseph Higgins says the hose ban is a disaster. Just fucking ignore it. That's what I say. Just ignore the fucking hose ban. I'll be lashing, filling the pool up in my back garden every 10 minutes if I have to. I mean, fuck it. You only live once. Enjoy the summer. Skipper Dog says soaps. Haha. Didn't see that coming. I think it comes from being a kid, mate. My mum watched them all the time. And when we were younger, sitting around the TV, it was EastEnders and Coronation Street all the time. So it just stuck. And yeah, I've just found myself watching them as an adult. No, that isn't where it stops. To be fair, I do watch Neighbours and Home and Away as well, but I don't watch anything else. So it's just Coronation Street, EastEnders, Neighbours, Home and Away. I don't watch Brookside. I don't even know if that's still going, by the way. I don't think it is it? No, I don't watch Emmerdale. I don't watch Hollyoaks. I mean, yeah, just the four big ones. Joseph says we call him Kebab in Ireland, Connor. It's going to sleep, that fool. Lubac says, imagine if Interpol have intercepted this chat and they're on the way to Craig and they're like going, what the fuck is this Diet Chav shite that he keeps talking about? Is that code for something? Are they selling drugs on there? Is that what they're doing? Are they on here? Is this the new Silver Road? Is that what that place was called? I can't remember that illegal site. But yeah, that would be fucking... No, it wouldn't be hilarious actually because it would freak the shit out of the kids. Whoa, relax with the grooming shit there. Cob idle now. Hang on, relax there. Sean Blackmore says that he's from Gloucester in the heart of the beautiful Cotswolds. I've never been there, but obviously it's known that the Cotswolds is an absolutely stunning place. So yeah, lucky you. The Junior thinks Conor would KO Khabib in round 1. Neil Anthony says, Craig, what do you think of Shane Duffy as a backup centre back? He's doing very well last season at Brighton, but I don't know. I'd rather see Lascelles? I can never remember. Jamal Lascelles. I'd rather see him come in. Okay, again, just Connor says, Craig, just because you drink Diet Chav instead of water doesn't mean you can waste it. I'm doing my bit for water conservation, Connor. You're right. Even when I'm having a shower, I don't have any hair to wash because I've got a bald head. The water just bounces off. So I do my bit for water conservation in other ways. Cop Idol says, love MMA but don't really want to get started on that. The White Darky says, will you be watching the Chester match or England on Saturday afternoon? I'll be watching the Chester match against Liverpool obviously because it's Liverpool, but I will have the England game on another stream or on my laptop or something because obviously I do like a bet and I will certainly have a few on that day. Skipper Dog said, Jesus, I only watch Game of Thrones, which is something I don't actually watch. I don't know if I've said it on here before or if it was on a podcast, but with me having Asperger's, I have a serious lack of imagination, and I don't know if that's something that affects other people with Asperger's or not. I can only speak from my own experiences, but if something isn't truly believable, I can't fathom it. I can't watch Star Wars, Star Trek, any of that stuff. It's Game of Thrones. I just look at it and go, well, that can't happen. That's bullshit. There's no way he can do that. So yeah, I've got zero imagination, so no Game of Thrones for me. Lots more chat about UFC, which I should probably skip because the Liverpool chat, and I don't want the chat to go off in one direction as much as I'd love to sit here and have a chat about Conor McGregor. Lubac says, I bet it's a good time to buy shares in Diet Chav. It certainly is. I'm still trying to think of the angle we can work this Diet Chav on, to be fair, but we did, as I said earlier on, we did buy the domain name dietchav.com. You may think we're messing, but I showed the guys earlier on in the stream, myself, Connor and Anfield Agenda did go and purchase the domain name. No idea why or what we'll do with it, but you know what, it's a bit of crack. And as you can see in the stream here, we are sponsored by Diet Chav. Diet Chav, the drink of the solution. Cop Idol thinks that if McGregor did fight Khabib, he'd have to knock him out quickly. Yeah, I think I get where you're coming from. You've seen with when he fought Nate Diaz. Now, obviously, it could have been the fact that McGregor had to put on a lot of weight, obviously, well, muscle, and he did fatigue a lot, particularly in the first fight. Oh no, in the second fight he did as well. Obviously, the first fight he tapped out, but in the second fight he did struggle towards the end. So I get where you're coming from, but I'd be interested to see if he does fight him, if he's going to go back down. Obviously, he's not going to fight him the same way he fought Nate Diaz. Ben says Khabib is an actual animal. I didn't like the way Khabib cornered one of, I can't even remember the name of McGregor's teammate at the hotel at that time, with all his mates around. He thought he was Johnny Big Bollocks. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, it was also completely fucking mental what McGregor did, jumping on the jet and heading over. I mean, that's only something some Irish fella that was on the dole a few years ago. It's after making 100 million quid to say, fuck this, we're getting on the jet over to New York or Boston, was it, to go, and we're going to get this fucker. But absolute madness. Absolute madness. What else have we got? Connor says Diabala to LFC news was fake. Am I right? I'd imagine so, mate. I mean, we're all hoping, of course, because many of us would love Diabala at Liverpool, but I'd say yes. I'd say most likely it's not true. I hope it is, though. I really do hope it is. Johnny says get McGregor to Anfield. Oh, imagine that. Scenes now if he fought at Anfield. But I'd much prefer him to fight in Croke Park, to be fair, over here in Dublin. And I've no doubt he'd sell it out, and it would sell out very quickly. And he deserves a massive homecoming fight like that. I'm surprised Dana hasn't given it to him yet. Although, I suppose if you're going to fight that big pay-per-view in Dublin, you wouldn't be left fight late, because with the resident and stuff around Croke Park, it wouldn't be able to probably hit well with the American market for the time slot. But I'd love to see McGregor get a fight over here. A big fight in a stadium in Dublin. Aaron says he hopes France get beaten tomorrow so we can announce Fakir. What time have we got? It's nearly 11:45. I think we're going to jump off at 12 o'clock, guys. So maybe 15 minutes, if that's okay. The junior thinks that France will edge Uruguay. Anthony says, how much do you think Diabala would be worth? Oh, it's a very difficult question to answer, isn't it? Because the way the market is at the minute, heaven only knows. I mean, I'd imagine they'd certainly ask for 100 million euros, if not upwards of that. Probably upwards of that, if I'm being honest. I mean, I'm just clutching at straws here, but I'd be comfortable with us paying 80 million quid for him, although I'm sure they'd ask a lot more. It is a tough question. Let me know, Anthony, what do you think he's worth? Ben says Prison Break is the best TV show. If we're getting into this chat before I head off, if we're doing a little bit of TV show, then Only Fools and Horses is the best TV show ever, bar none. What else have we got? The Wire, amazing TV show. The West Wing, amazing TV show. House, I really enjoyed as well. I thought House was hilarious. The In-Betweeners was good crack. Obviously, Fawlty Towers, only 12 episodes, but again, one of the best shows ever made in my opinion. I mean, we could talk about TV shows here all night. We could do a complete stream on amazing TV shows. But yeah, unfortunately, as I've said, I'm not one for fantasy or stuff like that. It just doesn't work for me. Connor says, Lubac, I've legit watched that whole series like 4 times now. I've never seen even a single episode of Prison Break. Cop Idol says, Craig, it's because you don't do the hard sell. That's why I stopped watching the Red Men, but I would super chat this channel all day long. I think we're waiting to get monetized. I don't even understand how this process works, if I'm being honest. I know we had to hit specific targets and we have reached them. I think there's a delay with YouTube monetizing stuff. I didn't even know what super chats were, Cop Idol, mate, to be honest, until Connor told me what they were a while back. This is just about having a laugh and chatting about Reds for me. I love the podcast as well, don't get me wrong. I really love talking on podcasts. But money is not the motivation on here. It's about growing the brand. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to lie. I do want to grow Anfield Agenda because I want it to be the go-to place for fans to come and have a chat. But it's definitely nothing to do with making money. It's the furthest thing from our minds. As I said, I didn't even know what a super chat was until about 10 days ago. Paul Turner says, Craig, did you watch the TV series Scully with Kenny Dalglish starring? I haven't, no. One TV series I remember years ago, I think it was called Looking After Jojo. I don't know if any of you guys remember that. What's the guy's name? The Scottish actor that was in the 51st State in it. Massive Liverpool fan. I can't think of his name right now. Of course I can't think of his name. You guys know me by now. I lose names or forget names all the time. But yeah, it was amazing anyway. I really enjoyed that one. He plays Begbie in Trainspotting, and I just cannot remember his name at this moment in time. And no doubt it'll be in the chat. And then, look, loads of lads. Artem Lobov, yeah, that's exactly the guy I'm talking about. Lubac says, Craig just needs an RV to make his diet chav inside. Yeah, full on fucking, whatchamacallit, Breaking Bad, which was another brilliant TV show as well, to be fair, if we're talking about TV shows. I think one of the guys saying, Cobb Boyle said he's from Huyton, and I know Robbo of the Anfield Rap. They're fucking good lads. They're absolute top lads. As I said, lots of love for the Anfield Rap from me. I subscribe to their content. I have my TAW subscription. Enjoy it. One of the best $4.99 a month I pay, and the lads make brilliant content. Constantly make brilliant content. Philly said, if we sign Nogolia, FSG sell this club, please. A little bit over the top. I think it's probably more down to Klopp than FSG for the goalkeeper situation. I think if Klopp wanted to go and sign a goalkeeper, I think the money is there. I just think he may back Karius, which of course I don't agree with. I've made no secret of that, buddy, but I don't think it's down to the owners. Thomas Boland says, people said computers wouldn't catch on. Diet Chav on the stock market within 5 years. Imagine that. Public limited company buying shares in Diet Chav. Diet Coke bullying that they didn't buy us out years ago when they had the chance. If only we had sponsored the Anfield Agenda YouTube channel when they gave us the chance. I mean, all that bald idiot wanted was a few cans of Diet Coke, and here we are now having to close down shop because Diet Chav has taken over the world. Isn't it mad how the world goes? Thomas, a couple of shouts for TV shows. Breaking Bad, Fawlty Towers, Game of Thrones, The Sopranos. Yeah, another great show. I love The Sopranos. I have a signed Sopranos cast picture as well. I also have a signed script of Scarface, a signed third draft of the script. I actually bought that on my honeymoon when I was over in Florida. When did I get married? Jesus, 11 years ago now. The Office. Ben, which office did you prefer actually? Did you prefer the American office or the US office or the English one? Because as much as I did enjoy the English one and I thought it was brilliant, I probably think the US office shaded it, for me anyway. Philly says, super chats equals gay. Okay, fair enough, buddy. Connor thinks Transfer Talk podcast is going live in 5 minutes to midnight, everybody, so be sure to check it out. And please do. I hope you enjoy it. It was just me and Dave on this week's one, but it was an interesting chat, and as Connor said, it's going live on the channel very soon. I think I said it to you guys as well. If you do enjoy podcasts, if you listen to our podcast now, we are, as of this week, on Spotify. So you can listen to the Anfield Agenda podcast on Spotify. We worked pretty hard to get on there. It was great for us to get the news back. So our podcasts are now available on Spotify, on iTunes, on Acast, Castbox, Podbean, pretty much all the major podcast apps. And I can't say they're on all of them because, you know, there probably is some that they aren't. But our podcasts are available in a lot of places these days. Again, 100% free content. Like our YouTube channel, it always will be 100% free. Cop Idol says, gay, really? I mean, yeah, I don't get that either, the gay part. I mean, bullshit, fair enough. If he doesn't agree with super chats, of course, he's entitled to his opinion. As I said, this idiot didn't even know what they were 10 days ago, but gay is a pretty weird phrase to use to describe a super chat. Lubac says, I'll be crying laughing when I see Diet Chav in the supermarkets. I hope it's when you're going to the checkout with the Diet Chav in the trolley, buddy. Junior's heading off. Good night, Junior, mate. Lovely again for you to join in. Thank you for joining. Aaron Lennon says, the Diabala rumours is to piss off Johnny Cunty Locks. Yeah, it's a good show, actually. That is a good show. Although, didn't they emanate these links from Italy, so it wouldn't really be something that we are putting out there, but I can imagine he's pissing the bed at this point, thinking, oh Jesus, no, I can't get Fakira, what am I going to do? I have that money spent. Don't be surprised if Uruguay do a job on France, says Johnny, and I wouldn't be, mate. I absolutely wouldn't be. They're more than capable. I suppose I'm just assuming that France are going to show up and turn on the style. Stephen Dwyer says, Craig, what's your take on the Buvac situation? I don't think he's coming back. And the reason, Stephen, mate, I don't think he's coming back is because of when he left. If it was because of an illness or something like that, then of course it's understandable that he had to leave. We haven't heard anything about an illness. And look, it may be kept, of course, personal, but we've seen him linked with other clubs. We've seen him linked with other jobs. There was the Arsenal job. We've seen him linked with the Fenerbahce job. So for him to have left at a pivotal time in Liverpool's season, it just stinks to me. It just stinks of a possible fallout maybe with Klopp. Again, I'm just guessing, but I would be amazed to see him back. I'd be absolutely amazed. With the article, Klopp did talking up Pep and Linders recently again. And look, Pep and Linders is an excellent coach, very highly regarded. I'd be surprised if he wasn't perhaps our number 2 soon. But yeah, I don't think Buvac is coming back. But that's just my reading of the situation. The Raptor has joined late in the evening. He says, good evening, chaps and chapesses. What have I missed? Anything new? It's been a bit of a weird one, actually. To be fair, lots of Dybala chat on social media this evening. Louis says, Firmino is better than Jesus. And I agree. I don't know why Tete keeps playing Jesus ahead of Firmino. And I've said time and time again, Jesus is a super footballer. Very talented footballer. But he doesn't give as much as Bobby Firmino does. So I'd be interested to see if he doesn't start Firmino tomorrow. I'm just giving up. I hope he starts because he deserves a start. Lubac says, just imagine Craig in his private jet from the Diet Chav money. I don't know if I'd ever fly a private jet, to be fair. I don't really agree with the principle of flying a private jet. I don't know why. I'd be quite happy to just sit in business class on a commercial jet. I don't really see the need to ever fly a private jet. Not that I'll ever be in that situation. I think I've only ever flown upper class once, and that was 14 years ago as a little treat for my wife when we were going somewhere. Whatever happened to Anthony Latalak? I can't actually remember, Neil, what happened to him or where he ended up. Good question. I honestly can't remember, and I'm sure Phil, Skipper Dog, or somebody in the chat here, or Cop Idol probably, will know what happened to him, but I just cannot remember where he went. The Raptor says, Buvac seems pretty much out of here. That's the common perception all around. Skipper Dog says, Dybala plays for Juve, Ronaldo's going to them, they would need funds. I really hope. I would love Paulo Dybala to be a Liverpool footballer. I would absolutely love it. But I think we're all just hoping beyond hope. Ben says, thanks for the stream, Craig. Good night, Reds. And again, thank you, Ben, for joining in. And good night to you, mate. Monkey says, Firmino should be starting for Brazil ahead of Jesus. Firmino scored as a sub. Jesus hasn't scored a goal. And I 100% agree. As I said, I think he would bring a lot more to that team. Lots of good nights for Ben as well, which again, I love to see that type of stuff in here. Cop Idol says, I think Buvac isn't over. 20-year friendships don't die that easy. I hope the friendship isn't over. Jesus, don't get me wrong. I really hope the friendship isn't over. As you said, a 20-year friendship, or a 17-year working relationship, something like that. I mean, you don't want that shit to end. Of course you don't. But it would be, it would be very tough, maybe, for Klopp to welcome him back after the pivotal point of the season he left at. But I don't know Jurgen Klopp personally, and Jurgen Klopp is certainly a man who's willing to give people a chance of redemption. So never say never. I just, my reading of it is that it's been so quiet. He hasn't been back for pre-season. So if he was going to be back, you'd have imagined he'd have been back for pre-season. But until the club make an official announcement, Cop Idol mate, none of us know. He went back to France. A lot of people are saying there in the chat in regards to Anthony Latalak. He plays for Orleans. Steve says. Jason Mackle says, great stream tonight, Craig. Like and sub, mate, and thank you very much, sir. I'm delighted you enjoyed it, and thank you for hitting the like button and subscribing. I hope you continue to enjoy the content. Louis says he's going to head off as well. Good night, Reds. Great stream as always, Craig. Thank you, mate, and have a lovely evening. Well, it's night at this point, isn't it? The Diet Chav Director's Box at Anfield. Now that's something I definitely splurge on, Thomas. I mean, I won't fly in private jets, but I'm all over a corporate box at Anfield without a shadow of a doubt. Me and Connor there fucking taking over a corporate box. Tunes pumping out there at half time. Diet Chav overflowing from the edges of the place. Jerseys all over the shop. No shirts and ties in there, I can guarantee you. Yeah, that would be a good place to be at. There'd be a bit of fun in the old Diet Chav corporate box at Anfield. Right, we'd have to have it right beside the captain's box though. I feel like that's where we belong. Oh god, all this over fictional company. It's madness. Connor says, great show, Thomas. Joseph said, I didn't see anything about the Ebola today. Can you update me, please? Probably, I think Connor or some of the guys might be better placed, Joseph, mate, because I'm late to the party as well. Apparently, from my limited knowledge, an Italian media source has said that Liverpool are interested in signing Paulo Dybala. Now, whether that's them seeing Ronaldo coming in and guessing, I don't know. But that's, I think, where it comes from, Joseph. Monkey says, you may have talked about it already, but what's the guy we bought from Ajax like? I honestly don't know. All I know is he's an a Dutch under 16 international. He came to Ajax, I think, at 14, and I can't remember what Dutch team he was with before that. I can't remember, but look, if Liverpool are signing him, he's obviously a good talent. I think he's at trial still this week at the club, but I really don't know much about him, except his name is something like Hoover, which is deadly. Johnny says, where is Jordan Rossiter? Rangers, I think. Didn't he go to Rangers last year? I think he went to Rangers. If memory serves me correct, that's where he went. Joseph Higgins says, yeah, thanks. I can imagine a merry-go-round summer transfer window. I think it's just going to take one mad transfer and then the 3 weeks between the end of the World Cup and the window shutting for English clubs in particular are going to be mental. Because aren't Spanish clubs and European clubs, didn't they keep going till the end of August? I think it's only us that shut the window early, I think. Darren says, hello Red, sorry I'm late, notification failure. No problem, Darren. Thank you for tuning in, mate. I hope you enjoy the stream if you're catching up watching it. It was a bit of crack tonight, to be fair. We went off the wall as always, but look, isn't that Anfield agenda? While we've got very little Liverpool content to chat about, we have a bit of a laugh in here, and there was some mad chat tonight. There really was. Steve says, I bet the manager of LFC Twitter is laughing his ass off. I'd say so. There's been some mad stuff in LFC Twitter. There always is, between tracking planes, following Mercedes fans around, making up transfer rumours. LFC Twitter is an entertainment all of its own. Lots of people just confirmed that Rossiter did indeed head up to Rangers. Thomas Boland says, it's not important to some people, but the content is important to us. Up the Reds, JFT96, night all, it's dinner time. Good night, Thomas, mate, and again, thank you for joining the chat tonight. It's much appreciated as always. Gents and ladies, if you're watching, I am going to call it a night. I will, of course, be back tomorrow. As I said, tomorrow it will be all going well. Connor, myself, and Tom coming on for a Q&A. So get your questions ready. Anything you want to know about myself, Tom, Connor, or Anfield Agenda, or any of our views, please feel free to ask. We want to, I suppose we want to get to know you guys, but I think it's only fair that you get to know us as well. So if there is anything that you want to know or ask, please do so. Yeah, and of course we'll have a bit of a laugh as always. One more thing before we go. Randy says, Craig, are you as frustrated as I am? Where are the signings to make a challenge for the league? Carries to start next season. I think just give it time, Randy, mate, is what I'd say. The window's still open. The World Cup's still ongoing. I think we will see some stuff happening over the next few weeks. So just give it time. The Carrier situation, I'm as worried as you, if I'm being honest. But look, just give it time. The window's still open. Lots of people just saying good night, and again, thank you to you all. It's been an absolute pleasure on here tonight chatting with you. If you haven't given us a thumbs up yet for the stream and you're watching, please do give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, we'd very much appreciate if you did. Until tomorrow, which will probably be we'll be live straight after whatever time the second quarter-final finishes. So if it goes to extra time, we'll be on straight after that. If it doesn't, then we'll most likely be kicking off around 9 o'clock, 9:15. But again, thanks to everyone for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it, and up the Reds.